What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the stream. We went live a little bit early. I think I hit it like a minute before it was supposed to start, but it's fine. Everybody will roll in when they want to. Tonight, we have another packed panel here. We have Paigey hanging out with us. We have Darren in the building, and Taz has returned. Good to have Taz with us. We will be talking about, or at least I will be talking about Captain America tonight because I think I'm the only one that's seen it. But no spoilers right now, guys. We're not going to do any spoilers. I'm not going to spoil the ending. I'm not going to spoil the end credit scene. None of that. But I am going to talk about pros and cons of the movie without spoiling anything. So do not worry if you haven't seen it. I will not be spoiling it for anybody. There's a lot of discourse around the movie that I sort of want to discuss too. So it's not just the film. It's kind of the stuff that's happening online. So we'll get to that. We have some stuff from Stephen Amell, shockingly. Some stuff to talk about with him. Grant Gustin did an interview with Michael Rosenbaum, and we got some quotes and clips from that. So we're going to be watching that. I'm going to talk about some of my favorite comic book storylines over the years. I don't think it's going to be anything too surprising. Oh, look, it's 2025, and you got your Arrow and Flash Funko Pop. But talk about that, and then I'm going to give you guys some of the worst shows that people have loved over the years that I think is like ridiculous. And I've got a few to mention. And Paigey might get his favorite show mentioned in that little list that I made, so we'll see where we go from there. Anyway, but it's a pretty fun stream tonight. As you can see, whether you're watching on Reloaded or Debunks, there's a goal. There's options in the polls for you to vote on. If we hit our tip goal tonight, our chat goal tonight, you guys will get to pick one of those by voting in the poll. So please feel free to contribute. I would very much appreciate it. But with that being said, let's get into how everybody's doing. We'll start with Taz. How are you doing today? How is your week so far?
I'm doing well. Staying busy, watching Invincible, and have actually been finally starting my watch through of Dexter, the original series. So, yeah.
The OG
been enjoying that.
Okay.
Yeah, been enjoying that.
What about you, Darren? How is your week going? I know you said you're a little under the weather, so...
Yeah. Our whole family has just been completely sick all week, and I was like, all right, because I was supposed to see Captain America today with a friend. I was like, I probably shouldn't go cough and, like all in the theater. We ordered soup today from Bob Evans, so that was fun. And I've been binging...
what kind of soup did you get?
It was like a chicken noodle soup.
Oh, okay. So the whole family's like healing with soup. So,
yeah.
Luke Cage, are you on season 1 or season 2?
Season 1. I just got past the big mid-season death, which I did not see coming.
That was a shocking one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
shocking.
well, he's the main villain. I was like,
yeah,
guess not for the whole season. That's
right.
crazy.
No, it's great. Which, by the way, such a great... That's the other thing is having him as... I don't know if we should spoil it or not, but having him as Blade, potentially, he goes away so early in the series. Yeah. It's like, I don't know if people even care about that. But, yeah, it's pretty shocking. Paigey, what are you eating? Because I know you probably have food there with you.
Oh, no, I just had a little, energy bar thing before. I don't know if you heard me in that. But, mate, life lesson. So, just to preface this thing, I'm in this, Discord group with just some, random, other Australian people and stuff for, sports and stuff like that.
Is it a betting group, like a gambling group?
It's a mixture. It's, just sports discussion and, but then, there's, a betting thing. Everyone's been in there for about 2 years, especially about 2.5 years or something. Some guy just got scammed $12,000.
Okay, was it through gambling or was it somebody promised?
No. He asked
something?
He's like, hey, I'm I just need some money. I'm getting paid and stuff this week, and got scammed heaps. And the guy just then bailed and deleted his Discord again. He's been there for 2 years. Crazy, wow. But yeah. No matter how much you think you know someone, maybe
Wait, so somebody in the Discord just sent this person the money?
Yeah, but everyone's been there for 2 years.
No, I know, but that's what happened. Somebody in the Discord sent the money.
But that's the thing. There's always been
to somebody else in the Discord. So this is all in the same Discord. Okay.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. Now it's just imploded, and someone has his address and everything. There might be, I don't know if they're gonna what's his name, Ted Kaczynski, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
but I'm not too sure if that's gonna happen. But anyway, aside from that, I have only watched one thing this week.
What did you watch?
We talked about the OJ thing. I finished that.
How many episodes is that, by the way?
The OJ, I think it's 4. They're about an hour or so.
All right, that's not bad.
I think it's 4 episodes. But
like I said, documentaries are rough for me. I talked about this last week. I can do maybe a 1 hour thing or a TV thing.
Well, Netflix is getting weird. They're releasing these docuseries, and some of them are 4 or 5, which I think is fine. But then they did that Jerry Springer one. It's 2. what's the point? Just make it a big documentary.
Yeah.
Why is it 2 episodes? Just make it. Why?
I
thought
actually,
it was.
doesn't
I thought
that
it was
have something
pushing-
to do with crediting? Like, depending on who worked on each one, they can't. put
I
their
think,
names on all
honestly,
of
I
them.
think it's because they get the funding for it to be a TV series, and then they just don't get enough
Oh.
to make it. It's like, oh, we're planning to make an 8-hour thing, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you only get 2 or 3 hours out of it.
We're going to talk about this in a second. I have so many things I want to say about the show, and I'm just going to get it out now before the finale episodes that we get next week. We might talk. You know what? Let's go ahead. Let's talk about that first because I just want to get that out.
Actually,
So,
quickly
yeah.
before, you know what show you should watch, Eric? Because
What?
it's like very. It happened like it's based on everything that happened 10 years ago, but it's very relevant now. You should go watch that Apple Cider Vinegar on Netflix. That new show on Netflix. It's got the girl. If you search it up on Netflix, it came out last week.
No,
It's an
I'll
Australian-
remember that. That's such a weird title. I'll remember it.
It's an
but-
Australian Netflix show, but it's got
Yeah.
that Caitlin Diva. She plays the main. You know, she's in Last of Us season 2.
Yeah.
She plays the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
She does an
Okay.
Australian accent. It's really trippy. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, it's worth watching. So I guess yeah.
Well,
I
but you know what
guess
it's about. Do you ever, that Belle Gibson? Do you ever heard of that Belle Gibson chick?
Mhm.
She's like
Yeah.
the grifter. Like she was like the OG social media grifter.
hmm
So I know you love your grifting, Eric.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so let's talk about. We're just going to combine like the Spider-Man Invincible conversation because I feel like we can sort of just get our thoughts out. I want to start out with Spider-Man though. So I know there was a lot of drama around obviously the lead actor and what he said, but I think everybody else on the show has, in my opinion, went into it with the right frame of mind. And I'm not necessarily saying I forgive him for it because he's really good as Peter Parker. I think he's a really good Peter Parker. But I just I was thinking as I was watching it today. No, we watched it this morning. I'm like, you know what? This might be one of my favorite versions of Spider-Man as I was watching the show. I don't know if it's because I connect with the vibe of the character or what it is. Like this and the Miles Morales movies might be my favorite 2 versions of both of those Spider-Man characters.
Wow.
Like in general, I love the show. I love the cinematic quality of the camera angles. Even if you don't love the art, the way it's filmed with the camera movements and stuff, it's very much like they're filming a live action TV show or a live action movie, which you don't normally get in cartoons. No
It's
offense
very
to stuff
dynamic.
like yeah. No offense to Invincible or X-Men 97 or any of these other cartoons, but the way that this cartoon is filmed, it might be because of the animation style, is you get these really cool sweeping shots around characters. Like sometimes it'll come in under their feet, or like for example, when the Scorpion fight was going on, you got this really cool shot where Peter is like holding up part of the building, and then you get the tail coming in, but the tail is drawn like it's an animated panel in a comic, but then the camera is still moving like it's a 3-dimensional object, so you get this really interesting spiral into this like stabbing thing, which by the way, absolutely crazy scene in the
Yeah.
show. Probably the most violent thing we've seen since the show aired, like the beginning of the series.
It's the most violent thing in any Spider-Man show, really. Ever.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I have to say, and we still have a couple episodes left, this show might end up being like a 10 out of 10 show for me. I love this show. Like, I love all the characters. I don't feel like any of the side stories are boring. I like everything with Lonnie. I like everything with Nico. I like everything with Harry. I like all the Peter stuff. Every character feels like what they're doing is important stuff, like for the show. It doesn't feel like any story can be thrown away. All of it sort of connects together in a weird way that makes sense. And also, shout out to all of the voice actors. Like, they're killing these roles. Like, Nico, amazing. Harry, amazing. Obviously, Norman is, the voice acting for that is going to be good. I mean, look who's behind the character. But
Yeah.
it's just so well done. And now I see why they went ahead and gave them 2 more seasons. I think this might be one of my favorite cartoons of all time, next to like some of the other great stuff that I loved. I really, really enjoy it. And I know it's a more modern take on the character and people complain about some of the aspects of it, but I think I spoke about this on another stream, but as long as I feel like the characters hold the core values of the characters from the comics, you can tell whatever story you want. And so I think that the show at the end of all of it all the characters have the core values of the characters from the comics, and that's what I really appreciate about it. So I'm enjoying it. I think it's really good. If you guys have not checked it out, I highly recommend going and watching on Disney Plus. It's almost done. You could probably wait for a week and then binge the whole thing, but releasing multiple episodes a week, it's great. It's just so much fun. I don't have anything but positive stuff to say about the show. I really don't have anything negative to say about it. I don't know. How are you guys feeling about it right now?
I know my tune has definitely changed on it. I had a couple of like interesting nitpicks at the beginning. I didn't necessarily love how Uncle Ben died before Peter got his powers. I think that was maybe my biggest issue with those premiere episodes, is they did the origin a little bit out of order. But something that Darren and I actually discussed a week or so ago on stream was that it feels like an extended What If. And if you go into it with that mindset, then I'm like, okay, this is actually incredible. Not only the art direction, the art style, like you said, the cinematic and dynamic camera angles and everything like that. The fact that it feels like a amalgam of every single Spider-Man project that we've gotten before. You have elements of Spider-Verse, you have elements of the 90s Spider-Man.
The different suits we're getting, like every few episodes, like it's really interesting.
Exactly. Like you have all of those elements from past Spider-Man stories that make it feel familiar, but they're done in a very unique way. And the fact that they stay true to those like classic character designs and make it look like a comic book come to life, like I think that is the biggest draw for the show. And I am so invested in it now, and seeing how I had those, small little nitpicks at the beginning, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure about this. I'm now 100% invested. I think you're right that this is going to go down as one of the best Spider-Man animated projects, if not one of the best Marvel animated projects ever.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah. Darren, before you speak, did you get the vibe when they were doing the heads-up display of the suit that they were like that it felt like the Spider-Man game? Like when like all the things were dinging up on the map and everything. Did you guys think that? Like,
oh yeah,
I was like the whole time I was like, wait a minute, this is like the game. For the
yeah, when they pulled up the map for sure, it felt like the PlayStation game.
Yeah. All right, Darren, your thoughts right now, or how are you feeling about it?
No, I love it. Like again, like me and Taz have been kind of talking about it week to week, and it's like I feel like each week it just gets better and better. Like week 1, we were like, that was okay, that was all right. And then week 2 was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then I got done with this week's batch of episodes. I was like,
Daredevil.
I was like,
dude, that Daredevil scene.
This is fantastic. Like, this is something really, really special. And like Taz said, it really hit me this week. They really did take something from every single adaptation of Spider-Man. Like, it has that heart that the Raimi movies has. It has that, like, friendly neighborhood vibe that Andrew had. It takes the storylines from Tom's. It takes how they write their villains from Spectacular Spider-Man. Obviously, so much inspiration from the like games, and obviously the multiverse stuff from the like Spider-Verse, and also the comic books and the animated shows. And they wrap it all together in this bow that's just pure passion. And like I saw someone on Twitter today say, like, oh, like this should like they just don't care about Spider-Man. I was like, how could you say that? I don't know if I've ever seen a show so passionate about the character they're basing it off. They love this guy. It's so clear to see. It's crazy.
It truly does feel like a love letter to...
I want to say... Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to touch
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think that... Like, to be fair, if you want to see a classic Peter Parker story, almost every other Spider-Man cartoon does that. Like, go watch one of those. They're great. Some of those 90s ones are... amazing. Like, this is doing a different thing with Spider-Man, and it's okay if it's not for you, but I would say if you're going into it and you're not going to give it a shot because it's a little bit different, you're missing out on one of the best Spider-Man cartoons that I think has ever been made. Naruto here with the $5 super chat, kicking it off for tonight. All we need is a few more, and Naruto is coming through. The batch of Spider-Man episode yesterday was fantastic. I would say the Daredevil stuff was amazing. The theme started playing, the voice acting obviously got me. Just the fight scene was great. That dynamic camera works so well when Spider-Man is like going up against Daredevil. I was just blown away by all of it.
And seeing his powers actually visualized. You
can't do that in the show because in the show it would look like weird.
But this is the perfect medium to do it in.
Like, it's like Spider Sense versus heightened senses. It's crazy. It's so good. I couldn't have asked for more, honestly. And then today we got another, I think it was just one episode of Invincible, right? Today? Because I was after it was done, I was like, wait, more? Did we get more? No, it's just that one. again, another really great season so far with Invincible. I don't have a lot of notes about it. I think it's just, I feel like animation has been so good over the last like year and a half. Like we've had so many great things. And so Invincible, we get to see, like it did this sort of Valentine's story, which I thought was really sweet on Valentine's week. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not a sucker for love like that, but I thought it was well done, right? The whole future time travel thing or whatever. So we had that going on. And then we got the extra stuff with like, was it Battle Beast coming in and fighting? Like Battle Beast is my dude. Like I love Battle Beast. I love that character from the comics. He is literally a beast, and I can't wait to see where he goes. But just so good. I think I'm hoping that we get satisfied at the end of this because I feel like it's kind of taking its time with some of the elements of the season, but I am enjoying it. And I understand there's critiques about the art and that. Everybody's got comments about art in both, this and Spider-Man. I get it, but I'm having a good time with it, and I'm willing to overlook some of the elements of art as long as everything else is really good, and everything else is really good. So not a lot of negatives. Are you guys enjoying Invincible?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Like I literally, I think it was like right before the season started, I binged season 2 because I specifically saved it until now. I watched that. I was all back into it. I have a stack of Invincible Funkos back there. I bought like an Invincible shirt. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm going all in. I'm getting all ready.
Right.
I've been watching videos like breaking down the comics and things like that. I have so many ideas in my head of where they could take this season. Like, there's 2 big storylines that are coming up that I don't know, like you said, if they're going to have time to fit them both into this season. Like, there are 2 really big plot points that could happen. I don't want to go too deep into it.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody because I feel like everybody's excited. But
exactly.
I will say,
it's so good.
I love Battle Beast, and I'm very worried about something that's coming up, and I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. But we'll see. We'll see where they go.
Isn't there a new Battle Beast comic coming out? I think they posted something about it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the comic shop and get that as soon as it comes out. So, all right. Before we start talking about Captain America, we're because again, this is not just a discussion about the movie. I'm gonna get my thoughts on it and stuff, but we're gonna talk about like the internet stuff that's happening right now. Naruto here with the $2 super chat. Thoughts on the end of Cobra Kai? I haven't seen the last episode. Has anybody seen the last episode yet?
I watched the first episode of part 3 today. I'll do one a day until I'm done. But I'm kind of like.
Sorry. Go ahead, Darren.
I'm really dreading finishing it because it is like probably one of my favorite shows of all time. But
so you're excited for the movie then, right? You're excited for the movie coming up. So
I think Cobra Kai is probably one of my favorite franchises outside of like the superhero genre. Like it's like I have I have that poster like right behind me. I love that whole thing. But it's so sad to say goodbye to like this corner of the like Karate Kid.
We need something to come in and fill that gap for this when it's over with. So
we have that rumor for that show that's happening, but
we'll see about that.
I don't know if I want that yet.
I'll give my thoughts on this on one of the streams next week, Naruto, when I have a chance to finish the whole season. I just haven't had a chance. So much stuff has been going on, and then today I had to go to the movie, so I just haven't had a lot of time. All right, so actually, you know what? I want to bring one thing up before we get into the Captain America stuff. It'll be very brief, but before we do that, we have to drop everyone's favorite clip. All right, let me shuffle some people around over here. We're gonna move the Pixar version of me to the bottom. Get everybody on cam at the top. All right, there we go. So I thought this was interesting. People have paid like thousands of dollars for these phones with TikTok, and now Apple's bringing it back to the App Store. It's probably back by now because this was posted earlier today. Just straight up, I'm not a TikTok person, so for me, it didn't really matter one way or the other. I use it very, very casually. What about you guys? Is anybody super excited to get TikTok back? Did you delete it from your phone?
No.
No. No, I mean, there was not really a reason to delete it. Like, I kind of had the feeling that it was coming back, but it kind of turned into that, like, the Flappy Bird situation all over again, right? Where people, like, deleted the app, and then if you had it, like, your phone was the holy grail pretty much. But, yeah, I mean, it's fun that it's back. I just think, it's pretty much doom scroll content, but it's fun.
Pretty
it's fun.
much.
It's fun to just sit there and scroll when you've got nothing better to do.
I think it's funny, Paige. Didn't you say that the algorithm changed that little bit of time while the Americans weren't using it or something like that?
Well, all the AI, all like the bot stuff, like how do you know, like if you use TikTok, you see there's that content sometimes where the screen's split in half and the top is like a clip from a show or something, and the bottom half is like,
And the other half is somebody building a Lego castle. Or
no, it's like usually a video game, and then the top is like, so it's like Minecraft or something down the bottom, like a video, just a video game down the bottom, and then like a clip from like Family Guy or like a show or whatever it is up the top, and then there's like that stuff disappeared. The AI voice, you know, those ones where they're probably playing Minecraft and it's reading like Reddit stories and stuff like that. Gone. I
actually think they just highlight it and then put it into like a voice program and let the voice program talk.
That's what they would do. They just put into like an AI script reader thing. That all went away, so it was gone for about. Well, to be honest, I don't really see it at all anymore. So I think that sort of fixed up from the algorithm. I'll tell you what I'm getting at the moment, though. I don't know if anyone else is. If you're getting this stuff on TikTok, let me know. Fucking cave diving memes, like people like.
Speaking of cave diving, we have Lance. So
why does he look like he's like being caught doing something sus or something? Like, what's with that? What's with
this? People tell me I need to smile more. I can't smile on command, so.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's me smiling.
Lance, I know you're a big TikTok person. Right? Don't you make TikToks all the time?
Yes, but young Eric, in the era of not having TikTok, I have decided to expound upon my YouTube career. So, you know, I
are you doing shorts now?
No, I'm just posting more long form
shorts
content.
are up to 3 minutes now. They're way better than they were before.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been finding more success in my long form videos since I put all my focus back into YouTube.
So you're ignoring your viewers that want short form content.
Hey man, I'm getting back into short form content, but like I posted like 2 pictures on TikTok today because I don't feel like just sitting in front of my phone.
Wait. Is there a space on TikTok for pictures?
I think there is now, like a weird picture algorithm.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What?
All I'm gonna say is I'm almost to 1,000 views on both, and that's just off using your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Wow. Yeah. And then I did
a thing for a while. Yeah, you just like post a photo and then you put music behind it and text or whatever.
That's a low effort as fuck, but all right.
I did something that was super low effort. Like I just had a funny idea. I put it together in like 15 minutes. It was like, has anybody been getting like the JBL speaker memes? So I did it for the so I did it for, what was it, episode 2 of Invincible, when Cecil like activates the thing in Mark's head, and I was like, Cecil pulled up on Mark with the JBL speaker, and I got 1,000 views in like 15 minutes.
That's
and I was like,
crazy.
I was like, why though?
I also got a message from Javicia Leslie's private page on TikTok.
Oh shit!
Said
it said, "Hey, dickhead, stop stalking me. It's getting really fucking weird now."
Actually, it said, "Hi, dear. How are you doing at this peaceful moment? Thank you for being a fan. I take time out to randomly appreciate my fans.
Yeah, this sounds like that. This sounds like the Discord scam.
And comments on every post about me means a lot to me. I hope you don't stop supporting me. Thank you and love you." And the username is Javicia Private Chats. Yeah, I'll fall for that.
Seems legit.
Yeah. Oh, Lance, have you seen Captain America yet?
No, I'm going to see it tomorrow.
Okay, good. All right, so literally, I'm going to be like telling everybody how good it is. Okay, here we go.
I thought you said it was ass.
No, I literally did not say that. Anonymous, you were at the super chat. Did you guys? So I did see this video. We're not going to watch here because apparently YouTube is like blocking the video. But the guy that pulled up in front of the train with the truck. Did you guys see this?
Yeah,
he was forced out there though.
Yeah, he got rear-ended. Yeah, he got rear-ended.
But what I'm saying, like, I saw the clip and I'm like, why didn't you just U-turn into the other lane?
Apparently, he
kept driving forward.
Apparently, I think his chassis might have been fucked from the.
Okay. All right, that might be what it is then. Yeah, I was like, it's like I would have just done a Yui or something. Like, what the hell? But it was gnarly though. The damage to that truck was like, it's crazy.
And also, like in that moment, like you just start panicking. You don't think you're like, oh, I'll reverse.
Well, I mean, my car almost went underwater like a few years. It got totaled back in like 2016.
Yeah, but that's because you thought like, oh, let me see if I can make this submarine boat.
No, that's not what happened. That is not what happened. But I was like, let me get out of here. So I grabbed my backpack and just like jumped out as quick as I
Backpack,
could.
Dora. What were you doing with a backpack?
So you don't need to know what I do with my backpack. It's not any of your business.
Yeah, trust me. Actually, I might be curious on the contents within it. I was going to say I don't want to know, but maybe I do want to know.
It might be all the gear for the car reviews.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's all my
Well,
microphone.
fuck,
all
that gear's not getting put to use, is it?
All right. So we're going to look over here at my least favorite site that everybody loves to use, which is Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I have seen the film, and I've read some of these reviews.
The audience score is that high? Not shocked.
No, because it's not a bad movie. That's the thing. So here's the issue with this is I have said this, and I'll say it over and over again, whether it's a movie I like or I don't like. The importance of Rotten Tomatoes is far blown out of proportion. I think this site is turned into nothing but advertising propaganda for the studios. That's all it is at this point. I feel like a lot of the people that are doing the reviews, I'm not saying they're getting paid by the studios. I'm not that deep in the tinfoil shit or whatever, but I feel like there's a sort of social pressure for some of them to just go along with what everybody else is saying instead of giving their own opinions about it. Because I read some of these reviews and I'm like, a lot of them sound like they're just saying the same exact line.
Like with a lot of things, I think they just follow a narrative. So you're going to go with the narrative because people don't want to stick out. They're still going to say like they give their thoughts on certain parts, but at the end of the day, with this type of stuff, like you could write a 1,000-page review, but you know what? All that matters whether you gave it rotten or fresh.
Exactly. That's
all that
it.
matters when it comes to this.
That number right there on the screen is so here's the way this works. The studio will do advertisements with the popcorn meter because obviously that's higher. They won't show what the critics have done. But if the critic score was higher, they would show the critic score and ignore the fan score. That's just the way this works.
Yep.
This is the weirdest thing that we've done culturally, I think, in terms of like how we view entertainment in my adult life. I don't understand why people look at this and then go, hey, I'm going to base my entire reasoning for whether or not I go to a movie on what is it? Just a bunch of different scores put together into a number and a website. Like, it's really weird. I will say this for every movie. If it looks like something you want to see, go and see it. Make your own opinion about it. If you've got if you have a person that you watch, like a content creator that you agree with 99% of the time, and they're like, I liked it, or I didn't like it, then you might be able to go, hey, is it worth my time? Is it not worth my time? But looking at an arbitrary number to me is so fucking weird.
I think one of the biggest issues when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, especially in the present, like, especially in the social media age, but like really probably like, some would say like post-COVID, probably from like 2015 onwards, especially when like a lot of the fandom stuff has come into it and there's a lot more websites and outlets and stuff that have those people there, is that they aren't critics. They're given a critic thing, but there's a difference between like anyone can give a thought on a movie and give it a score out of 10.
If I worked hard enough, I could be a Rotten Tomato critic. All I have to do is follow certain steps to get in.
You just have to follow certain steps. I mean, I was one. I'm not one anymore because
and clearly that's a perfect example of people that are unqualified to be giving scores to movies.
Well, because it's just like anyone can review a movie. Anyone can give us an 8 out of 10, a 6 out of 10, but not everyone's a critic. There's a reason that being a critic is a job that people get paid a decent amount for as well.
Yeah.
It's like how, Eric, you can pick up a tennis ball and a tennis racket, but I'm not going to call you fucking, Nadal or something like that. I'm going to call you Eric. Wow, he picked up a ball. Wow. Like,
right. Well, I will say this. Not only are these scores weird, but the discourse around it is really strange. I've seen some really dumb comments on Twitter about this, and now that I have gone and seen the movie, it's even more baffling to me that some of them are painting this as such a bad movie. I feel like at this point with this film, we had it with the Marvels, now we're having it with this. There is a agenda within the critic community and on Rotten Tomatoes to purposely go after Marvel movies at this point.
I don't think it's an agenda, but I think it just, once again, it plays into the narrative. So if there's, Marvel's obviously had like a bit of a rough patch and stuff. It's just like it's not, impervious.
I
to...
disagree. I think critics are looking for social clout. That's what I think is happening. A lot of these people on there are
But I
posting
don't-
this so they can get people to come to their pages, just like they do here on YouTube.
Maybe, but like I don't know, like what percentage of people that go click on this and they look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, go, okay, let me click the review and then let me click the full review. I don't think that happens. I think the only time that would happen is if someone looks up a YouTube review.
I think you are highly underestimating the level of power people feel when they're the ones to make the scores go lower.
Oh, look, I'm not saying like that's the reviewer that does it, but that's more of it. That's a power thing, not a clout thing. Like
but
that.
Then you said the other day, you were like, "I'm the one that made Zack Snyder's Justice League go under like fresh or whatever." Like you did it just the other day.
Yeah, but where's my clout of that? I'm not known as the gun. What was it?
When you mentioned it, you were farming for clout when you said it.
Oh, okay, yeah, but if I'm farming for clout, then I definitely didn't get it at the time. It's more of a, but I got to because that's the thing. That was the thing. It was a more of a power thing because I looked.
Right.
I didn't really care about the movie. Would I give it a rotten review? No.
Well, let's take a look.
I can make it uncertified.
I want to look at a chart to prove that there's no way that these scores are legitimate. Okay, this is proof of it, right? Look at this chart. This is not worse than Secret Invasion. It is not worse than Quantumania. So even being close to those two scores is crazy. It is fucking clown world to me. There's no way that this movie is... Secret Invasion is probably the worst thing the MCU has done. Even more so than fucking Eternals and Quantumania. And that's above those two.
In fairness, that was probably only the first 2 or 3 episodes of Secret Invasion. But
those were the better episodes.
Better ones? Yeah.
I think that's the point. It'd be even worse.
But still, even those at their best this movie is better than that.
Where's your boy Iron Fist on this?
Well, this is MCU project. I don't think Iron Fist was when they came out. They listed that as a separate MCU thing, right? Was that
Scott Buck is like. Ooh.
So, but even so, it's that one is so low it doesn't matter. This is just the ones the ones that are close together. There's no way. I'm telling you guys, everyone watching this, Brave New World is not as bad as Secret Invasion.
Who just farted?
It was probably Lance.
That was my mouth. Sorry.
It's not as bad. And then it's like comments like this, right? The movie was mid. Is that bad though? Does mid mean bad or does it mean mid?
Yeah.
That's the problem, you guys.
Why was it mid?
Something that is mid. Well, even if you consider it mid means it's okay.
Yeah.
Mid means it's just okay. So to say it's mid as an insult is like, do we consider okay bad now? It has to be a 10 out of 10 perfect?
I think
that's a weird metric.
It has to do too with what people scale things on, right? Because you have some people that'll say, okay, a 7 out of 10 is like an average movie. Right. But if you're doing it on that scale of 1 to 10, the way that I've kind of changed my opinion on that over the years is I would put a 5 out of 10 as an average movie because that's right in the middle. So I'm not afraid to give things like lower scores, but just because it is a lower score doesn't mean that it's bad.
Right.
It just doesn't mean that it's amazing.
But see, the problem is on Rotten Tomatoes, 51% is considered rotten, but by scoring, that would be a mid movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And most of the people talking about it aren't being like, oh, this is garbage. Most of the people are saying, this is okay. This is fine. But when it shows up as 50%, people see that. I'm like, oh, so it was the worst movie ever made. It's terrible.
Right.
No. People just thought it was a middle-of-the-road movie. And I do think people just have a fundamental misunderstanding on how Rotten Tomatoes works.
There needs to be a score on Rotten Tomatoes that isn't just good and rotten. There needs to be something in the middle that makes sense in that space, because this is a disservice to the film industry now at this point. This is detrimental to the film industry. I have a bunch to say about that, but we're going to get through this first before I get there. So whatever you guys say.
Maybe there should be like a scaling, like a watch in theaters, wait for it to come out, wait for it to be free, or like rent, like some sort of scaling like that maybe they they combine both the critic and the audience score and then come out with a rating of like, should you see it in theaters? Should you wait for it to come out? That sort of thing. I think that could be a very helpful rating for a lot of people.
I think other just people having the like A, B, C, D rating is a lot more helpful, where it's like, it's a B. Okay, maybe I'll wait. Or it's an A. Okay, I'll go check it out. Like,
but Steven here says maybe that's why it goes like it's a school scale grading scale or whatever. But even so, that rotten stamp is going to affect the sales of this movie in a negative way. It's going to affect it. Even if the movie manages to hit its target amount, like they want to do 200 million globally this weekend, and I still think they can hit that. But the problem is, if it doesn't hit that, is it because the movie is bad, or is it because some critics said it was bad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the question we have to ask.
And people are going to go in with that preconceived idea, like, oh, I'm going in expecting this movie to not be good just because I saw this critic say it wasn't good, or this person I follow on Twitter, or this YouTuber that I watched that said that the movie was bad. And I think that's where it comes down to that idea. You mentioned it earlier, is does this look like a movie that you personally would like to go see, make your judgment based off of that, and then go into it with an open mind?
And to be fair, this movie climate that we're in today, whether it's movies, video games, TVs, the entertainment industry, period, we're so hooked into listening to what other people say.
Exactly.
Other people score something. We don't know how to think for ourselves.
Exactly.
That's the problem with the internet.
Or we feel ashamed to like something that other people don't like. There is a social pressure on that. Go back to when you were in school, and how weird was it that you would like something and like 5 other people didn't like it, but you didn't want to tell them you like it because you didn't want to be a social outcast. So you just go along with everybody else and say, I didn't like it because, who would like that? Ha ha ha. Because you don't want to admit that. I am far too old to play those fucking games. So like the thing is that this entire system now with Rotten Tomatoes has almost become like an assault on the film industry, in my opinion. Because they can be manipulated. We don't know. I can't say for 100%, and Paige, even though we were joking about it earlier, I can't say for 100% if those critics want to tank a movie or don't want to tank a movie at this point. You don't know what their agenda is. You have no idea. We can only go with what we assume. But what if they're in there just to go after stuff they like and stuff they don't like? What if they don't like superhero movies? They're going to give it a lower score because they don't like superhero movies. And that's going to affect the movie. What if they're dealing with superhero fatigue? There's all these factors that come into play, which is why I believe if you're going to look at Rotten Tomatoes and you want to use it, even though I suggest you do not use it as a metric to whether or not you go see something, look at the fan scores. That's the only score that really matters to me, is the fan score.
And
I think at the end of the day, like, I mean, it's how I do it. If it looks interesting from the trailer, or someone that you mostly agree with goes, oh yeah, I liked it, you should go watch it, then go watch it. But like that's why, and I play into that because I'm like, well, if you're the studio and you're making a movie, make the trailer look good. If the movie ends up being shit and you did a good trailer, be like, hey, you convinced me, you made it look good at the very least based on the trailer. And I can't blame anyone. Well, I guess I could blame the studio. That's false advertising. But anyway, that I hate to play. I hate the game.
I hated this fucking movie. Can I get a refund? Like,
but like that's what you should do. Like, I think putting too much reliance on whether it's someone on YouTube or like a Rotten Tomatoes score or a specific critic, it's just like, I think you rob yourself of whether it's a movie, a TV show, a song, whatever it is, you rob yourself of going that. Seeing, especially when you go see it in the theater, because there's movies where you watch at home and they just do not hit, whether it's the second time you watch it or the first time you watch it.
Steven, I agree with this, but I was saying if you are someone that is going to use a sure to judge, like go with the fan score. It's always the more accurate score in terms of like what the movie is going to be, in my opinion. Until they made those changes or whatever. Guy B. Levy says, I've seen tomorrow theaters. Thought it was a great game. There's a lot of YouTubers making fail videos on how to rage farmers. I mean, that's where we are right now. That's why it's so difficult to be in the space and to have a legitimate conversation about the movie. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to give you guys my opinions on the movie, and then we're going to look at that tweet that I think, Taz, you brought up. I have it saved over here that we're going to look at. The movie, for the first 2 acts, is very cohesive. It's a very good, like, spy thriller espionage storyline. It feels fully formed. It feels like this was the movie they had planned on doing, and they explain things to you. You don't need to to go back and look at a bunch of stuff to understand what's happening. They do a great job of setting Sam up as Captain America. You don't question it. It feels very natural there. That clip that we watched, they fixed it. The editing in the movie is much better than it was in that clip in the fight, and it was at the beginning of the movie, and it was at the end of a long fight. So we predicted that right, that scene. The new Falcon you really learn to love this character in the movie. Really well done. Harrison Ford kills it. kills it, absolutely kills it. Isaiah Bradley is amazing. His storyline is one of the coolest storylines in the movie. It is the third act of the movie where you start to see the cracks in the like all the drama behind reshoots and post-production stuff. You start to see that in the third act. There's some issues with the VFX that they probably could have cleaned up a little bit. Overall, Red Hulk looks great. Backgrounds sometimes look a little wonky. Looks, he's a solid character in there. I would have to say probably my biggest criticism is the missed humor moments. Like the humor that's put in the movie is your MCU humor, but it's in places that I don't think are necessary. And we saw one of the clips where the Red Hulk pops up and she's in the background and she goes, "Oh, they come in red now," or whatever, that scene. That was unnecessary. They could have taken that scene completely out of the movie. It doesn't make sense in the preview. It doesn't make sense in the film. They could have gotten rid of that altogether. There are things like that could have been subtracted from the movie. But other than that, it is a fun movie. It feels like a phase 1, phase 2 Marvel movie. It is exactly what all of the critics have been asking for them to do. Go back to what they were doing before, make the stories a little more simple, bring it back into the characters, cut back on the cameos, cut back on the team stuff, focus on a smaller group of people. They did everything that the critics asked for, and they still gave it a low score.
I really do think that this is an uphill battle. Whether this is a good movie or a bad movie doesn't matter, because there's so many things going against it. Like, this was the first MCU movie since July. This is coming off of, obviously, this is Sam's first Captain America movie that had a lot of things surrounding it. This is also a follow-up to what is arguably not only superhero, I'd argue one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Like, that original Captain America movie. Films are phenomenal, and also we're just heading into a new, I'd say, era of Marvel with this new Bob Iger. There all these reshoots that we're seeing, all this controversy that we've seen over the last year and a half. There were so many things going against it that I knew going into it that not everyone was going to love it. I think we all kind of knew that. But I do think what we're going to see over these next 48, 50 hours are people being like, hold up, why'd they say that? Why was everyone so against it? And I think, and me and Taz used to talk about this a lot, I do think the superhero genre as we know it is dying a little bit, because I do think the argument between fans of these comic book movies and the critics are getting very, very thin, where I don't think these are movies critics are really enjoying anymore, which is fine, I understand. But that does kind of risk the dying out of comic book movies as we know it, as we've seen it for the last 20 years. Every new comic book movie has to be something new, something original, something fresh, something that just pops. And I don't necessarily think everything has to do that. Yes, don't make the same movie over and over again. But, I like a Shang-Chi. I like a Aquaman every once in a while, right? I don't need a WandaVision every time. I want to point out here, it's predictable because they pretty much tell you the story in the trailers, right? I mean, I'm not spoiling anything here by saying what you see in the trailer, the setup for the movie is exactly the movie you get. So the idea of the mystery really surrounds some of the elements of political discourse in the movie, and that's in the first 2 acts. So yeah, the third act is Hulk smash, which is what this review here gave it a 9 out of 100. A 9. Jesus.
Pussyfooting and sidestepping, unconcerned with race, history, heroism, or anything at all behind Hulk smash. Keep in mind, the Hulk scene is 10 minutes of the movie.
Spoiler.
But you didn't expect it's a third act. You didn't expect it to be a long part of the movie. But these are the same people that get mad when they dive too much into race and history and all of that stuff. These are the same people that complain about that. So it's like you were saying, Darren, I don't think there's any way for these movies to win. This is concerning about the DCU too. I think this is going to be concerning about that moving forward as well. They don't want to allow these movies to be what they're going to be. They want them to be certain things, and when they're not those certain things, they're going to give them crap for it. They're going to shit on them for it, pretty much. So I think, and also I want to put out there, okay, so let me just throw this out. I think Marvel's biggest problem in terms of the way they are, where it is now versus before, is Marvel, and I think I said this back when we were reviewing these things regularly, Marvel had a consistency of product timing, how many we were getting a year, what the story was leading up to until COVID. And then once COVID happened, everything went downhill after that, with the exception of a couple of movies. Because Disney refused to continue the output they had. And what happened is the audience that were trained 3 Marvel movies a year, you're going to get this. This is what we're going to give you. They took it away for 2 years, 2020, 2021. They brought it back. Then they did like this hybrid at home while on streaming at the same time, which also has affected these kinds of movies as well. Then they went like last year we had 1 Marvel movie that wasn't necessarily an MCU movie. They really have pretty much, in my opinion, pulled back on it, and the hype is gone around that. It's because of that. They haven't fully built it back up yet. I think Fantastic Four has a good hype around it. I think that movie has good hype around it. We're going to see where Thunderbolts go with all of this. But like you were saying, Darren, this movie also had an uphill battle. So there was a lot of issues with this. But my problem is, and this is where I'm going to get into my comments about like early access for critics. I don't know why we do that anymore. But we go back to The Flash, right? Where The Flash critics were seeing the movie like a week or two before the movie came out. And essentially, to me, I think they tanked that movie. I think that movie tanked.
Well, no, it wasn't that. It wasn't a week. It was. I mean, I saw the movie like 2 months before it came out, and I was like, "Why are we seeing it this early?"
Well, that's what I mean. Look, any early access, any early access. I don't think
why is it this
when it
early?
comes to popcorn movies, superhero movies like this, we don't need that much early access. Let them go see it the same time as everybody else. And watch what happens with the sales of these movies. They will go up because people will be compelled to go and see them and make up their own minds instead of listening to other people tell them stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the earliest I've ever seen a movie was like a couple weeks. There was like something for Aquaman and something for Shazam when those came out. Like, I think it was a deal through like Amazon or something like that. There was like a 2-week early access screening or something like that. And I think movies like that, that's okay. Like Shazam, when it's not a big
specific reason,
like when it's not a big like integral part of whatever like the overarching story is. So like if people saw this movie, it seems like maybe a week or two early, it wouldn't have necessarily been a big deal. But if they have like early screenings for Fantastic Four or early screenings when we get to like Doomsday and stuff like that, that would be a little weird. And going back to The Flash, that was supposed to be such a big kind of monumental piece to the puzzle there, and they allowed people to see it 2 months early, and that completely swayed opinions. And I think giving it too much time before the movie comes out, you're really hurting your own box office, because unless you're 100% confident that those early screenings are going to help you and you're going to get nothing but positive reviews, that just gives people more time to be like, you know what, people don't seem to like this, I'm just going to wait for it to come out and watch it, or wait for it to be free, or I'm just not even going to go see it in general. And I think that has been, again, the trap that we've fallen into is, I think I mentioned it a couple days ago, is I've been in that kind of state where I don't go see movies as much as I used to, just because of the fact that they come out so quickly after they've released.
That's definitely a factor, 100%.
And I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to go see this one, just because it might be on Disney Plus in like 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now. Probably not that quick, but a couple months.
The thing that annoys me a lot, I'm going to get you a super chat, Cody, but I just want to get this out while I'm thinking of it, is when a movie underperforms and it's genuinely like not a good film, I don't really have much to say about that. It just that's the way it is. But when a movie like the Marvels was better than average for me. I think that movie was a lot of fun. It massively underperformed. Massively. Yeah. So you see something like that and I'm like, okay, that sucks. Then you have a movie like this where I think the movie is a fun movie, but people are coming out and trashing it early. It's going to affect the first weekend sales. At a certain point, it is interfering with the profitability of these IPs. Like, there's a lot of channels here on YouTube that literally make a living off of reading early reviews of movies and trashing the movies. They make a living off of that. So they affect it as well. There's a lot of other factors. There's early access. There's, like you said, coming to streaming. It could be bad advertising. There's a lot of things. But I think this idea that people who are reviewing movies determine so much of where people put their loyalty and their trust in is a weird place. It's a very weird place right now.
Yeah.
Cody with a $5 super chat. Another problem the movie has is the boycotters thinking they have complete control over people watching Brave New World. I haven't seen as much of that as I thought I was going to see on social media about the film. And I can tell you right now, I've seen the movie. This is not really a spoiler about the character, but they did a lot of changes to the character, and all the problems that people have with that character in the movie, like as far as like that storyline, have been completely changed. Completely. So I know the boycotters don't care because they're going to boycott it anyway.
I was going to say a boycotter is just like the people that protest have nothing to do. That's why they're protesting. So
yeah. But the thing about it is, I can assure you that that character is not, and we probably, like, this is not a spoiler. There's like about the character because nobody gives a fuck. She's barely in the movie. I don't know when or if we'll ever see that character again. So anyway.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, Eric. So today, like all over Twitter, I saw the usual suspects, mainly those Schneider people who were like shitting on this movie just to do it. I saw a couple of them talking about some, all they're gonna do is Anthony Mackie, he's never gonna lead the Avengers. They're never gonna have him lead the Avengers after this flops, and they're just gonna reboot it, and they're just gonna they're gonna put him with a new Steve Rogers, or he's gonna be fired and all of the other stuff with it. I said, I mean that's a way of thinking. I don't think they would just toss him. Talking about they did the same thing to Brie Larson. I'm like, how?
Right.
They
never you mean like fantasizing about him getting replaced or whatever.
Yeah,
that's what you're talking about.
I also don't know if this is going to affect. It might affect the box office a little bit. Like I know we talked about like ratings and stuff, but like the projected box office that we were seeing still very high. So I think first weekend, second weekend, I think this is going to do good. I think it's going to be third weekend is what's going to be interesting. And if people are going back to see this, is this going to be an MCU movie people see again? Because I think that's why MCU gets a lot of money sometimes. People are like, oh, I'm going to go see Endgame again. I'm going to go see, Guardians again. And does this have the rewatchable factor? That's going to be very interesting to see. But with the budget, I think that's going to make this a lot easier.
Well, if this movie's budget that got quoted like last week, I think it was like 180 million or whatever. All this movie needs to do is crack 200 this weekend, and I think it's going to be fine.
Good, yeah.
So fingers crossed that globally it reaches that number. We'll see about the returns on it and everything. I don't really want to talk too much more about it because I don't want to spoil any of the other elements of the film. But there's some really cool cameos in it. The end credit scene is fun. There's stuff in this movie that I think is pretty solid. We have some super chats here. Let's do these quickly. Lone Wolf with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Lone Wolf. I watched Sean Chandler review, A Critic I Trust, which I think, look, I will say this again. If you have a couple of people that you typically agree with, I have no problem with people going, well, somebody that I always agree with didn't like it, so I'm probably not going to like it. You're probably right. In his review, he said it felt disjointed and messy, but had enough redeeming qualities. But the conspiracy aspect, the leader didn't really work for him. I don't want to spoil that. It's part of the story. But the only disjointed part is the end of the movie. The way it goes from the first and second act into the third act. That's pretty much it. Trying to think. Disjointed, and messy. I'm trying to think where that would have been in the movie. I can't think of anything. Like, I genuinely enjoyed this movie. I don't know what people are expecting. Are they expecting like Grammy performances from the actors in these films? They're superhero movies.
Well, it'd be weird if it was Grammy performances, to be completely honest.
Or Academy Award winning performances. Oscar worthy. No, I mean, I don't know what they're expecting from these movies. I mean, they're superhero movies. They're this is again like a phase 1 and 2 movie. Go back and watch those. They weren't perfect films. They're fun, but they're not perfect. I don't know why we've gotten to a point, and maybe Darren, maybe they're jaded. Maybe it's got something to do with that about all of this. But this idea that everything has to be a 9 or 10 out of 10, I don't know what to say to that. That's such a weird way to judge art and media. No offense to Sean, he can have his opinion, but it's just it's a superhero popcorn movie. I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, I don't know what people expected from the movie.
I have heard that people have said that it feels more like a return to form. I guess is that true? I guess in the
Yeah.
aspect that we're away from, there's no multiversal stuff. Like it's very much so like a self-contained
Well, not only
story
is it
what
not
seems
multiversal
like.
stuff, but it answers questions. Remember, people, what about the hand in the ocean? We've been talking about that for 3 years now.
Yeah.
The movie does address that.
Yeah.
Finally. And people are complaining about the fact that they're addressing that. I'm like, you motherfuckers asked for this for 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, and if it just feels like a solid MCU movie, like I think that
Yeah.
there's that's all you can really ask for at this point.
I think there's a time and a place, to be honest, because like I'm someone that has said, "Hey, I don't want every MCU movie to feel the same," but I do think Captain America is one of them, where it's like, yeah, a action political thriller is fine. You don't have to break the bank, or you don't have to, break the mode necessarily. It's definitely very interesting because like I feel like I normally at least enjoy most of the MCU at a very surface level. But I do sometimes crave a bit more from them. Like sometimes it's like, okay, that was fun. And then when you have a movie like Wakanda Forever or Guardians 3 where it's like, oh, you can put out some, like, in my opinion, Oscar-worthy performances and writing and stuff like that. So I definitely understand where they're coming from, where they want more from it. When you have stuff like The Penguin that came out last year, where it's like, oh, that's this award-winning project. But you're right. Not every MCU movie has to break the mold. Not everything has to fundamentally change the formula.
I think so. What I think happened with this, Darren, is I think this was the other side of the coin of all the complaints that people have had about Marvel. So they've tried so many new things in Phase 4 and parts of Phase 5. They've tried so many new things, right? And this was one of those movies where they said, you know what? We are going to go back to the fundamental stuff that people enjoy. Captain America, check. Not a lot of characters in it to juggle around, check. Solid buddy cop story, check. Very simple and easy to understand villains, check mark on that. Street level with some stakes in it, check. Military stuff, check. All the things everybody wanted, they went back and they checked off those boxes. And they said, we are not going to stray from any of this because we always get criticism for doing that. So I think what happened is this was a Marvel movie on the rails of Phase 1 and 2. And what this tells me is people don't really want that. They don't want this to go back to Phase 1 and 2. They think they do nostalgically, but they don't. They want Guardians 3. They want stuff like that. They want Agatha all along. These are the things that people want. But the fact is that the people that like those earlier phases are not interested in going and supporting Marvel anymore. They're just not. If that's their arguments and complaints about it, then stay home. Make the movies for the people that want to go see them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I feel about it. And again, I don't really see any issues with a move. Like, if you think about the Captain America trilogy, right? You go from First Avenger to Winter Soldier to Civil War. The stakes kept going up and up and up and up, right? That was the way those movies worked. This movie had to come in and reset those stakes for Captain America and establish a new Captain America, establish a new character, in that spot. That's what they had to do in this movie, and that's what they did. That's what they went in with that mindset, and that's what they did with this film. It is not a perfect movie. I'm not saying there wasn't issues with it. I've already gone through my problems with the film. But I just think that the harsh critics, the ones that are coming in hot as fuck, giving it like 30%, on Rotten Tomatoes and shit like that, that is an unbelievably disrespectful number to give to a movie that is competently made. It's just so disrespectful in every form. There are fundamental movies that are bad, like objectively bad. There's bad directing, bad acting, bad lighting, bad sound design. There's so many things you can go in on. When a movie comes out and everybody does everything they're supposed to do and you're judging it on whether or not you like the story, I think going from 100 to 30 is too fucking harsh. That's just my opinion.
Just to butt in, so I think, if my memory serves me correct, I think Lance wins the lottery thing that we did. That Eric's first crash out of 2025 would be over Brave New World. So congratulations, Lance. I have no idea what you win. Maybe one of those Eric's used chaps. Maybe.
Yeah. Silver Animator with a $2 super chat. MCU will be fine, but Superman needs to do well. That's a true statement, actually. I think that is real. Because I believe that Fantastic Four is going to do good. I don't think there's a lot going against Fantastic Four in terms of like because it's so different from anything. You know, it's a separate little thing. I think that's going to be fine. Thunderbolts, we'll see. They showed the trailer for that with Captain America, but it was the old trailer, which is the one that I don't think they should be showing. I think they should be showing the new trailer in theaters, but they're showing the old one. But I do believe Superman needs to do well. That is a movie that there is, like, if this movie just makes budget back and that's all it does, I think that's fine. But if Superman doesn't do extremely well, that's a really bad sign for the DCU.
Can we just be honest? Superman's gonna do well regardless because
You
the
think
name.
so?
Hold on.
Yes,
Okay,
because of the name Superman.
Can someone
you
clip
throw
this?
But
Can you throw a number in there? Like how well
Yeah.
is doing well? Like what
Yeah.
in your mind would be a successful box office for
I think-
Superman?
I think what's the budget? Like, what's the legit budget?
I think the budget is I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of 200 million, somewhere around there. If I had to,
I
if
think
had
it's
to
gonna
guess.
make over its budget at least, because you have to account for the number of Snyder loyalists. You have to account for them. I think it's gonna make over its budget in the first week because let's be completely
in the
honest.
first week.
Well, I mean, like the first day, the first
First
weekend,
day.
the first week, like the first. It's
The first weekend.
The first
Okay.
weekend.
So
Alright.
so preview
Because
night to Sunday.
Yeah,
Right.
preview night to Sunday. It's people are gonna go see that movie regardless. No matter how many people are online talking about some. Oh, I ain't seeing it. It's not Henry Cavill. Oh, the suit's too thick. Oh, he's cross-eyed. Oh, don't nobody care about Corn Sweat. Oh, he's not Henry Cavill. No matter how many weirdos are online saying that, they're going to see this movie regardless. They're gonna hate watch it, but they're gonna see this movie regardless. How many? Think about it. This way.
I disagree because
Paige,
I
we
still
know
think
you're gonna hate it.
no. I'm not talking about the movie itself. I think it's still going to come down to, like we're saying, like the concerns you brought up before, Eric. I mean, one, people are lazy and don't want to go places, but they're just going to wait and see what the reviews are. I think Superman's box office will come down to its thing. Now, of course, I know people try to dodge it, but Gunn does have favoritism with the critics. So,
Yes.
like, there's always like,
Yeah.
because he sort of like was in that circle when he first started out and stuff like that. So I think there's
In
like
the
some
circle?
commonality there.
Pagey.
Yeah, not the square, the circle.
Oh, the circle.
I know you'd like
kinda
the
spicy.
eggplant.
Oh
Emoji.
no! Oh
Lance,
no!
but-
You went there.
But yeah, like I think that's what it's going to come down to, especially in that time when there's that Jurassic World movie, of course, the ever threatening Smurfs, and Fantastic Four at the end of the month. So,
Yeah.
like, I think that will be the month where people go. I think the only one where the Rotten Tomato score might not matter is probably Jurassic World, because the last one was fucking ass and that made $1 billion.
Yeah.
I think
I-
the audience for that doesn't pay attention to Rotten Tomatoes. That's what I think. So
Yeah.
I-
I'm not. Is anybody excited for Jurassic World? Honestly, like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna see it.
Think,
I'm gonna go.
I
see
think it had.
yeah.
no,
I think
I'm
it
gonna
had.
go see it, but the trailer didn't like. It was.
I think it had the best trailer out of those.
I think it had a great trailer for me. Yeah.
I wasn't
I-
expecting
I-
to see Fierro in it, but hey, I mean,
Darren, what were you gonna say?
I couldn't believe how mid that trailer was.
For which
I
one?
was
Jurassic World?
Yeah. I
Oh, you didn't like it?
mm-mm.
I actually thought it was really good. It's, for me, it reminded me of the old school. movies,
Okay, Darren, but you came on here hyping up influencer Smurf and
Oh,
Oh.
that's right.
what was the
me and
song you
Darren
singing?
talked about how much that Smurfs,
Oh,
that
Smurfs
Smurfs
made me-
trailer was ass.
First maybe was.
What was
Actually,
the song?
no, you got to take that back, Paige. My first crash out of the year was a Smurfs trailer. Do you remember my reaction to that? That was
Yeah,
That
but
was
that
really
felt
good.
like that didn't feel very organic. This felt like an organic crash out this stream. That Smurf one felt playing into it.
I was so sad I couldn't come on here and roast that Smurfs trailer.
What was
I
the song they used? What's the
oh my
song?
god. Oh
the one
gosh,
they
it was
used
an
15
Oh,
times?
yeah,
Ooh,
it was an
it-
80s song, but I
Ooh,
can't remember.
heaven is a place.
Yeah. That one. That's what it was.
Over
Do you know
and
what
over
that's
and
worth?
over.
Ooh, heaven is. They just kept repeating that over and over every like 15 seconds of the trailer.
I just can't take Rihanna as Smurfette. Her voice too.
I
deep.
can't either. It's like bad. I think that was a bad casting. But she's an executive producer on the movie, so like,
I think she's the only reason this movie might be happening.
yeah. All right,
Smurfette's
so
gonna be wearing Fenty lingerie.
we're gonna get through this, and then we're gonna move into better things like some clips from Grant Gustin and a little bit of Stephen Amell news.
Oh
But,
yes, Grant Gustin.
I don't even know what to say to that. Okay.
I just have to say he was looking real daddy-ish in that.
Oh
in that,
Jesus! Here we
podcast,
go. Here we
thing.
go. Of course. All right. So
Why
this
does
is a lie.
everything get suddenly very homoerotic whenever Lance comes into the stream?
So discussing film dropping lies on their Twitter account here. Captain America: Brave New World is the first MCU movie to not use the opening Marvel Studios fanfare since it was introduced.
Is discussing film turning into?
I
We
think
got
they
this
are.
covered?
I think
And
they are
bam,
because
smack,
Wait.
pow.
look,
Did yours
films
have it
that did
then?
not use the fanfare logo. Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Oh.
Avengers: Infinity War, Avengers: Endgame, Spider-Man: Far From Home, Eternal, Spider-Man: No Way Home, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels. So it's literally it's just a lie. It's not even real. It's not a real thing.
That's a but idiots believe it though. Like they're like,
That's
oh,
what I'm saying.
How could they not? Well, not
Look.
idiots, because I mean,
No, they're idiots.
no, I'm not gonna say idiots because
They're idiots.
I think Darren, didn't you say that's unfortunate?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Like So wait,
Caught
did
in
they just
4D?
not play the music, or did they not play the intro at all?
It's a different version of the intro. It's not the same one that all the movies have. It's like a different version of it.
It's like
yeah, so
different music.
So they're just blowing it
Yeah.
out of proportion.
Yes,
They just-
especially
yeah.
soups.
So,
Okay.
spoiler alert: the one in Captain America: Brave New World matches the black and white and gray theme that they had going into the movie. That's the
Oh,
difference.
that's
essentially.
fine. Like,
Right.
I don't care
Yeah.
if they just change it, but like, I thought they just didn't have that intro at all. They just like went right into it, and I was like, oh, that
No,
kinda
it's
sucks.
it's just like they just there's no music. It still has that thing.
Oh
like
yeah,
it's
that's
like
fine. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it has
don't-
the logo
that's
and
totally
everything.
fine.
yeah.
But they've decided that it's time to jump into the outrage stuff. And Jacob, shame on you in discussing film. Shame on you. I disavow this completely. But let's move on to something else from them.
But no, I think that's good though that
Yeah.
they did something unique. Like you keep the logo, but then
Yeah.
change it up. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
fine.
So, a Marvel crew member says that Captain America: Brave New World was allegedly the most tense Marvel set they worked on. Plus, the entire sequences shot were completely. But we already knew that. We knew that there was a lot of stuff that was changed in the movie, so that's not new. I think everyone on the crew knew this movie is probably not going to be a good film. See, I think the word "think" there is doing a lot of heavy lifting because that is basically mind reading because they don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure not everybody came up to them and said, "This movie's not good. This movie's not good." I don't think that's the case. Probably people they worked with, like depending on what department it is. We don't even know what department. They could have worked in catering or janitorial. We have no idea what department they worked in. I would not blow this up too much, but this is complete chum in the water for the people that are sharking people on YouTube that want to pull people in. They're going to make a video. The clickbait title will be like, shocking in all caps. Marvel crew member confirms that everyone knew the movie was going to be garbage, and that's going to be the thumbnail they're going to run with because of this. So, I mean, I feel like that's the case. Look, this might be true. There were people on set that felt the movie wasn't going to be good, but I don't think it's a super big deal because the movie isn't bad. So for me, it's like, okay, I don't know what they were thinking. Movies are made in the editing room, everyone. I don't know how many people know that, but
Yeah.
what you film is so completely out of order, and they do several shots of the different or several different shots of the same scene over and over and over again to get different perspectives and things like that. And then when they get in the editing room, that's when they make the movie. So when you're on set watching a movie being made, you're not getting the full picture of what that film is going to be when it comes out. Yeah. Most of these actors don't even know what the movie's going to be until it's edited and come out.
Do you think we should just address the elephant in the room when it comes to the Marvel movies and stuff? Post-Endgame and stuff like that, and maybe even more specifically like around like No Way Home. It's like people are expecting like just the cameo fest and they want to see the characters show up and stuff.
I agree.
And I know you said there's cameos in this movie. I have no idea who they are.
They're not. It's not like a look. They're there, but it's not the focus of the movie. So
yeah, they're just
yeah.
Is it Spider-Man?
No. Why would it be Spider-Man?
I don't know.
I know who I know who the cameo is. It's Chris Evans as premature Steve Rogers.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What do you mean premature?
It is Jonathan Majors.
Like what? Like he was
it's
born
Kang.
Prematurely?
Yeah, Kang.
Nope, not even Kang. It's just Jonathan Majors, the actor, just walking on set.
All right, let's look at some Stephen Amell quotes. This will be fun.
Stephen Daddy.
Look at him on the desk here.
Hey,
Look at that.
hey, I'm not gonna lie. that's giving Oliver Queen energy. That's how he got. That's how he got the Lance.
Isn't this for Suits LA? Isn't that what this is for? The
Yeah.
Suits LA thing.
To be fair, this
I was
does
about,
look
I was about
like
to say it's a
this
nice
does
suit.
look like Eric on his LinkedIn.
It
This
does
is
not
like-
look like me at all in no way, shape, or
Eric,
form.
I'm not saying he looks like you, but like the pose and everything, you have a very similar layout there.
Like I wonder how he was direct. Hey, Steven, just get on the table and look like a piece of meat.
There we go. It's very 1980s coded. It's very 1980s.
He needs to
coded me.
stop shaving. I like the scruff.
He's a lawyer.
I don't care.
He's not going to walk around with a 5 o'clock shadow as a lawyer. That's just not going to.
But Superman can walk around with a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's in Smallville.
Taz, what were you going to say? You got cut off there.
I just heard the demon from Lance's past.
No, you're good. You're good.
What is that?
All right. So here's what the quote says. Stephen Amell on his decision to criticize the SAG-AFTRA strike in 2023. Paige is going to feel
talking about this.
Paige is going to be very excited about this one. I think that I need to do a better job of really thinking about what I say publicly and the potential impact that it could have. It felt like the world was ending. To be at the eye of an internet storm like that, everything is really small and you feel like everyone's looking at you. I literally thought I was being side-eyed at the gym or dropping my kids off at school. Paige, thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, yeah, because everyone else was, sucking the teats, if you know what I mean. Like no one was really giving their opinion because a lot of people would have agreed. I don't think like everyone would have, especially maybe like people that would maybe early into the industry and stuff like that. But you could feel that like the ones like the old heads or the people that had been there for a bit, maybe had been through that previous strike, like the writer's strike that affected things. That like you got to know what you want, and we know that at the end of this, SAG bent the knee so hard to the studios. They got nothing. It was the strike was like, it almost was like it was pointless striking. Almost.
AI coming in now, so I don't know what they agreed on, but it's definitely not good.
Yeah, for like the extent of it and everything like that, it was. I mean, like the AI thing in particular, but even like like what was the one that just came in, like the video game one, where like, that should have been sort of involved with the previous thing and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done talking, by the way.
Oh, I thought somebody else was going to go. All right. So let's move over here. This is the next quote. This is from something about. So on set on Arrow, he was criticized a lot of times, about his behavior and stuff like that. People talked about how he was at conventions and stuff like that. So he was in the interview. He says, the hours were long. By the time we got to the 5th episode of the first season, I'd worked more on that show than I ever worked on anything in my life. I was never a monster. I was never disrespectful, but I had a short fuse, and you learn as you go. So does anybody feel like that maybe he was unfairly framed as like somebody that was difficult to work with? Does anybody remember?
I mean, I doubt he was
out?
never difficult to work with. Like, we've heard stories that, he's mean on a plane or blah, blah, blah. But, I mean... not to like sidetrack it here, but like these guys really did do way more than I think people gave them credit for. You know what I mean? Like they were filming 20 episode seasons in like 6 months, and then had 2 months off, and then it was like, hey, you want to do it again for like 8 years? Like
in Vancouver during the winter months? Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, like shows like Vampire Diaries and Arrow and Flat, like those.
Right, I was gonna say, and live in a completely different country. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, if I had to work in the cold all day, I would also be probably an asshole most of the time. So I kind of get it. One thing I do like about Stephen Amell though is I do feel like he's always at least transparent, like Piggy was saying about how he's feeling. Like he doesn't pull his punches. He's like, he'll say like, this guy pissed me off, or like, this is how I feel. You never not know what he's thinking. So
why are these pictures not loading?
Good to see you're running off your Windows 98 internet.
Yeah, that was weird. No, it's Twitter. It's Twitter, not that. This is Lance's favorite version of Stephen Amell right here with the beard. Actually, he prefers him going up the salmon ladder.
I can't lie. Like season 8, Stephen Amell's Ollie looked the most like it was the closest he ever got to looking like legit Oliver Queen from the comics. That was the closest we got with the beard and everything. And he said that's what it was going for, since he would never just give us the straight up Van Dyke. Arrogant. I know Paigey was campaigning for it a lot, along with trying to campaign to get the actress who played Kimiko's number. Did that ever pan out, Paigey? You never let us know.
Oh shit! All right.
You never let us know if you got her or not, Paigey.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, I don't think so. Can't remember at the very least. No, she's a lesbian, isn't she? So it doesn't matter. It would have been weird.
Is she?
Oh, yeah,
I would have been. Right. Fuck, that would have been an epic moment if I had. Yeah. God, talk about Riz. But anyway, if I'd broken that barrier, that's like I don't even know. That'd be like, what would I be like? Martin Luther King with like relationships or something. I don't know, like
what?
Breaking some sort of. Well, that was like breaking the race barrier.
I don't even know what that. I don't even know what that reference is.
Well, what would it be like? It'd be like who was the Jackie Robinson, the baseball player? Like that would be sort of like breaking the barrier there, making a lesbian.
Oh, okay, okay. I see what you're saying.
What do you think I was talking about?
I didn't know. I didn't understand what you were trying to reference. The allegory wasn't allegoring.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, what would that'd have to be like epic? It
was giving like, racist. Like, I was like, okay, well,
because I've heard stories of like people being like in such a bad relationship that they turn the person lesbian or gay. But what about if you do in reverse? Like,
yeah,
because that's like ultimate shit human being that you managed to do that, or at least shit whatever. What if you like? Actually, Eric, that's a really interesting conversation to have. What if you reverse that? What does that mean?
I don't know. What
does that mean about you, your skills? I'm sure it's happened, but you don't hear many case studies about it. So I don't know.
How would you even study that? I don't even know where you would begin to study that at.
A census? I don't know.
It seems like one of those things that would be impossible to study.
Oh my god!
Just go. Were you a lesbian? No. Okay.
Dan says the Martin Luther King of relationships, quoted by Paigey. Yeah. Yeah, no, short car. What are we even talking about? I don't know. I don't know how we got to that. Anyway, I want to say
once again, it's like the John Bobbitt situation. There was Lance.
No. One of the worst upgrades ever was when Wild Dog got that suit upgrade.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Wasn't that season 7?
And like, can I just address something in the chat? Paigey turning someone bi. I actually think that's better. I think that's almost like, so I think if you like say I'm in a relationship with a woman.
Are we on Love Island? What are we doing here?
It is the Valentine's Day episode, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, that's true. That's true. It's on brand.
So let's say I'm in a relationship with this woman. We'll call her Stacy. Okay, actually, no, because
we'll call her Felicity.
Okay, we'll call it Felicity. We'll call it Felicity. If I turn her lesbian, that's a bad look for me. What the fuck did you do? If I turn her bi, that's almost like DLC, because then all of a sudden she might bring a woman over, and she's keen for both.
They're telling you you're geeking out. Oh, F-Boy Island. That's true, Jenna. That's the actual correct thing. It's
so you know what I mean? So like
F-Girl Island.
If you turn your girlfriend bi, now she's into girls, that's like DLC because you get extra content.
I feel like we have... No. Okay, so let me tell you. I feel like we have gone down the rabbit hole of Paigey's like secret desires in this chat.
Well, no, we just got to explore the options. That's the thing.
Well, I'm not looking to explore anything except for superhero stuff, so I'm not really sure... Like... Valentine's, like, look, if you want to talk about relationships in the Arrowverse, I'm down for that. But F-Boy, F-Girl Island shit, that's not really my expertise. So.
I didn't bring an F-Boy Island or anything like that. I'm just bringing up some.
It sounds like that's what you're talking about, though, this weird relationship shit that happens on these reality shows.
Well, no. Yeah, but we're just wondering if it could happen in reality, not in reality shows, but in, like, walking down the street. Hello.
But what I'm saying is, what does that have to do with anything we're talking about?
Well, that's why you got to blame Lance. He's the one that brought it up. I didn't bring it up.
How did I bring it up?
But that's the thing. If anyone wants to do the research in regards to the Venn diagram of like lesbian creators that are men, if someone wants to do that in between the
there's no diagram. Like, what are you even talking about?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. There's no diagram because no one's done it. So if someone wants to do it, feel free to go do it.
I have a question. that's on topic.
I could see a Nobel Prize coming from that. Like, that's really interesting research.
Can someone super chat something really interesting so we can get off this subject? Because I'm
Eric, Eric, you didn't answer my question in the group chat.
I don't even remember what the fucking question was.
I mean,
at
the
this point.
Defunct's up for it. Defunct is asking where is that data?
No, my question was, see, Paige, we always get Eric in trouble. Please stop.
We haven't started talking about severed penises yet. So
oh my God.
Now.
My question was, did we properly, I don't think me and you properly talked trash about Armageddon back in the
you're talking about something from Twitter, like completely.
Okay, so so here's the thing. Lance has managed to bring in a conversation that has less to do with what we're talking about than the lesbian creation
We're about to talk.
He's brought in something that's completely unrelated.
Gustin. We're about to talk about Brent Gustin.
Yeah, we're talking about Stephen Amell at the moment.
We're done with Stephen
so just a heads up, everybody. We had limited time, and Paigey is wasting it by doing this. Just so you know.
Hey, just use the term wastefully carefully, because you don't know what it means.
You were the one that was like, I want to leave the stream earlier, so I'm going to spend 10 minutes talking about something completely unrelated
I'd
to
stay
what we're
on the
talking
stream
about.
for an extra hour if we could really get down to the mystery of the lesbian creation Venn diagram.
Yeah. Look, see, Defunct chiming in with $2. Something really interesting. Good. So we're going to talk about Grant Gustin next. Let's move on to these Grant Gustin clips, because I feel like they're...
Can you answer my question, though?
I don't... What was the question? I don't know what the question was.
I think that back in the day, I think that me and you went too easy on the Armageddon crossover, because rewatching it,
we went easy. I got chastised for going hard on it. Episode 3.
I don't remember. The after party, I don't remember.
Episode 3, I got into a huge argument with people about how good it was, how bad it was, because they thought that I was being too hard on it. I always said that it was uneven. I loved it, but there were episodes, especially episode 3, that I didn't like. So yeah.
After rewatching it, the entire event was utter ass. The overuse of Level Up in just one episode gave me a
You're
migraine.
just now getting annoyed with the Level Up stuff? What year is this?
I've always been
2025.
annoyed. I've always been annoyed with it, but it's like I'm sitting down there just like, oh, level up, oh, level up, oh, level up, oh, they leveled up, oh, level up.
I think so. Let me tell you what's happening now. I was the one that got in trouble for saying negative stuff about the Arrowverse, because if you go back to any of my rant and reviews where I even criticize one little thing, read the comment section and you will see clearly that people didn't want to hear that. Everybody that came around me that was circling my orbit would say all this good shit about it, and I would be like, am I the only one who feels this way? And it's like, now people are seeing it for what it is, because you're no longer glazing it. Like, that's the issue. Nobody's glazing it now. They're going back and looking at it. I love the Arrowverse. Don't get me wrong, but there was a lot of stuff in it that didn't work. Level Up was one of them.
To be fair, that's when you're in your MAGA era. Like, I think you were getting like extra.
I was never in that era. I was never in that era.
Okay, denial. But anyway.
All right, let's see what Grant Gustin.
Oh, by the way, just quickly before you jump into this.
Oh no.
I'm not going to jump into too much detail. I just did a quick bit of research. So if anyone wants to further upon this, just, brushing the dirt aside, I haven't really dug too much. Apparently there's a Reddit page called Late Bloomer Lesbians. And
what the fuck are we even talking about? What are we talking about?
What did you type in to find this?
I typed in
why do you want to know?
Gay.
Why do you want to know what he typed in? Like, what relevance is that to you at this point?
So yeah, there's a page here going, my girlfriend is gay, what do I do? And there's a long post about it with a comment section. So I might research that after the stream, but if anyone else is interested, feel free to as well.
Do your research, like make a video on that. I'm sure everybody would be really interested in that one. Let's hear what Grant has to say, because I need a palate cleanser.
I didn't know what I was getting into the first handful of
That's
seasons.
sus. The first line there ties into my thing. Anyway.
I didn't know what I was getting into the first handful of seasons. I was 23. I can't imagine. It was really stressful, but I didn't know how stressful it was. And I think I was like suppressing that, and it was manifesting in different ways, being impatient, being like not present, getting agitated.
Let's go.
And like, that's not, and I thought that was.
Wait a minute. How old was Michael Rosenbaum when he was on Smallville? Wasn't he?
He was old.
I was like early 20s, I think.
Yeah.
Late
or early 20s?
Late.
Oh, late 20s.
Because he was much older than the rest of the cast. He's always talked about that.
But Tom Welling wasn't an actual teenager though, so like
No, but he was younger than Michael Rosenbaum, though. Right?
They were all. Everyone was early 20s, and Michael Rosenbaum was late 20s. So there's like a
Okay.
5-6 year age gap.
All right.
Part of my job is like number one to like help the day move, but it's like it wasn't. I wasn't I wasn't a producer. My
I love
job
his
was
hair.
to do my character, but also to like set the tone and be a good leader. And I didn't know what that meant for a long time. I just always hear people
How
talk
could
about
you?
it.
You're 23.
Right. So
I
like,
still don't know what a good leader is.
I mean, I figured out over time what it was for me, and I know now how to go into another job to like being better about it from the onset. I got better, honestly, at being more present. I enjoyed it almost more as it went. Like season 9, I haven't watched season 9, frankly. Like I just because I don't know that I need to. I kind of got to a point where if something was fun for me, I don't want to watch it and pick myself apart. I didn't know what I was getting into the first time.
So, you know what's interesting about that clip is I never thought about the impact of being so young but being the lead of a show.
Yeah.
It never crossed my
Yeah.
mind, really. You know what I mean? Like there's earlier seasons. Because obviously when we get to like seasons 3, 4, 5 or whatever, and you've had a couple years under your belt, you sort of find your footing. But those earlier seasons being so young at the beginning of that show. That's
think about
crazy.
Disney Channel kids, they all feel this.
And look what happened to them. Like
Yeah.
documentaries are out there. So,
Yeah.
you know,
So I have
and on such a high profile show too. Like
True.
yeah.
you know, this was not a Disney Channel show. You know, this was big time. And
Yeah.
to be that young and say, "Hey, you have the whole show on your shoulders," like that's got to be a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Michael Rosenbaum's like commentary, but stale face made me crack up during like the first half of the interview. I don't know why, but it was.
Was he being like on his best behavior or something like that?
He was
whole
just
time
like-
the man was there.
He's like, yes. How could you? Oh, why? Oh my goodness. I'm like.
Remember,
are you-
did you ever watch that movie
gaslighting?
Sorority? Did you ever watch that movie Sorority Girls with Michael Rosenbaum, Eric?
All right, let's continue.
Like everyone, like I think Chris Wood, who's now her husband, who they met on that show. I knew him from college, where we were musical theater majors together.
Oh, I didn't
He
know
wasn't
that.
utilized in the
I
musical.
did.
Like, he was in the musical episode, but he didn't
Of
sing.
course you did.
And he's like done like Broadway tour. He's been on Broadway. He's done
I
Broadway
watched
tours. So I mean, it was. I think,
Chris Wood
you know,
wasn't on
Carlos
Glee.
has been on Broadway. It was just announced yesterday, so I can say he's about.
Hold on, wait. Did you just say did you watch Glee? And that's how you knew that?
I used to watch their old interviews.
Of course.
So it changed. It changed now. Like now that I said he wasn't on Glee, now you're like, oh, I used to watch the interviews.
Well,
Which
that's the
is
thing.
it?
I remember I told you I saw Chris Wood's ass, like young ass, on that girl show.
Jesus Christ.
No, he just shows up in an episode. I'm like, is that fucking Chris Wood? Because he looks so young. Speaking of gay, he was gay in that episode as well.
Oh my god.
Done like Broadway tour. He's been on Broadway. He's done Broadway tours. So I mean, it was. I think, you know, Carlos has been on Broadway. It was just announced yesterday, so I can say he's about to be on Broadway again. He's about to go do Hadestown and
This was
replace
back
Jordan
in
Fisher,
November.
who played my son on Flash.
So Carlos has been busy since the show ended, basically with just doing Broadway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what he's been doing.
Broadway, that
He had
he
a
was the
TV
lead
show,
of that Hulu show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. I do remember that. Yeah, yeah,
Flash,
But yeah,
who
this
in-
interview was back in
uh,
Small
November.
world.
yeah.
So he'd been on Broadway. Jesse L. Martin obviously had been on Broadway. Victor Garber, Broadway star. Melissa had been on Broadway. Jeremy Jordan, we had, who's like a Tony nominated Broadway star.
Jeez.
It was like ridiculous. It
Like
was
he had to.
it was
This is
begging to be
why.
Wait, who is this sitting with him? Who's this in the corner?
That's
Is it
Ryan.
Yeah, that's like-
I think he's just like the
He's like the
assistant audio
co-host,
guy.
yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
producer.
Yeah.
They had to do it.
And-
Like,
and-
God, what do you?
And now like it's I haven't rewatched it. I've seen clips of it, but like people love that episode. So like
It's so different.
and it was fun. Like everyone
So what do we think of that episode?
I mean, I liked the episode because like Wally got his mojo back, but like the singing and dancing was okay. But I liked the episode because like they finally stopped treating Wally like he was a little bitch. Like they gave him his mojo back.
No, I really like that episode. I think it's a very well made episode, but its placement in the season is some of the
I
worst
agree.
placement I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that.
And
I hate how they
Like-
handle love in the show.
well,
regardless.
you know what I hated in that episode? How they handled Wally. he comes out of the Speed Force the episode before. He's got all this trauma, and Music Master goes, "Stop being a bitch." That's pretty much what he says.
Yeah.
But honestly, he needed that. Like he needed that.
You know what? I'd rather him actually stop being a bitch himself, not get told by Music Master, who's cracking like show tunes from like the 40s in the episode.
That's
Moon River, like popping that out.
All right, what's this last little clip here?
That was nice, Pagey.
But I had done Glee, so like
So that was easy for you.
It was eerily similar, like where we brought up Zach Woodley, who had been the choreographer on Glee. They got him to choreograph it, which was like weird. It literally felt, I was like, and like
so wait, the choreographer for that episode was from Glee as well?
Yes,
that's pretty crazy. All right.
I knew that also.
And then and the songwriters were from like La La Land and Greatest Showman and those movies.
Are you
and
joking?
stuff.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they wrote that "Running Home to You" song and the Super Friends.
Well, that
song
makes
as
sense.
well.
That makes sense. Yeah, the "Running Home to You" that makes sense.
the number Zach choreographed was with Melissa, who was on Glee, and then Darren is around Chris, who was like Glee made him a big star, and I mean it was bizarre. It was like this weird like Glee Flash hybrid episode. Well, I think it was actually an episode of Supergirl, that crossover.
So I think
was not.
it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't.
She doesn't know much about the show.
Okay, to be fair, it started at the end of a Supergirl episode and then it crossed over.
It should have been a Supergirl episode, but the Flash got more viewers, so it warranted being more in the Flash.
Is that what it was? Is it because
they literally
that makes sense.
Of viewers and stuff like that, return on investment and everything.
All right, let's see. I had one more thing from Grant here. Where's it at?
Am I the only one who bought the soundtrack like immediately after that episode?
No,
I didn't even
you're
know
not.
They were selling it, to be honest.
I think I have that Running Home to You, but it's on like the Apple Music, so it's just on the subscription thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I listened to
I think I
Running
got
Home
it on
to You
iTunes.
in some of my most intimate moments.
Oh no!
Was that like a Gooning reference or something? As
No, like I legitimately like that's on my playlist.
Gooning Home to You or something.
Can we just talk about how luscious Grant's hair is? Like, if this was Barry hair, I'd be all for it. Like, hey.
What do you think Grant Gustin would look like with like a monobrow or just like?
Oh no! Let's not fan cast a monobrow.
Paige, I think your hair looked like that before, didn't it?
Don't think so. I remember like this would have been like maybe just the year before COVID. I got a funky haircut. It was like a bowl. Yeah, it was weird. I didn't really like it too much. Wore a hat for about 2 weeks.
So, not that this would ever happen, but I thought it'd be interesting to just bring this up. So, during that interview, you talked a little bit about like returning.
I like how you have
Flash
clips for all that crap, but you don't have the clip where he says this.
Because I couldn't find it. That's what I was just looking for.
I have it.
Do you? Do you have it like right now? You have.
I
it?
wouldn't trust him to. I wouldn't trust him to send you a link. I'm sorry. I would not. I would not trust him to send you a link.
What do you mean?
Paige, we know you.
Well, while Paige is looking for that, we got a couple super chats here.
He just sends you
One of them
porn.
is from Darren. It says 199. Well, wait, maybe Paige has a point. I don't know at what point you sent that, but I'm assuming it was during his little conversation there. But I appreciate that.
Wait, I have a point. I always have a point.
No, not really. Naruto with a $5 super chat. I returned to the stream and Eric is reliving the days of being attacked by West Islanders and toxic shippers.
No, they really did hate you
days.
too. They hated you guys, and then I got lumped into it by my association with you. Like I was legitimate friends with some of them. Like you saw.
I actually think we got hate on it because you were doing it, and then we got lumped in with your negativity. I
wasn't doing it. What?
I don't know if I believe that or not.
When was I doing it?
Look, it went as far as Paige. I don't know if I think it was last year, maybe last year or the end of 2023.
It was the end of 2023.
They made a fake post like Paige left a comment under one of my videos, and they made it look like it was Paige that left the comment, but it was all kinds of bad photoshopped. And it was basically like some Iris West bullshit. And I'm like, why are we doing this in 2023?
It was something about like getting Iris off the screen or Iris's crap and Cecile was the best or something.
And they posted it on Twitter. I was like, oh my God.
It's crazy.
So ridiculous. There was a panel they did. Should we do, look, chat, I didn't put that on there. Is that panel online somewhere that they did?
What panel?
They did a panel at a
At
recent
MegaCon.
convention.
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing that picture of the Flash cast
MegaCon.
reunited.
Yeah,
Guys-
in Orlando.
Let me know if you guys want to see a stream of us doing that, and I'll set that up as the goal for next Monday, and maybe we'll watch it. Or next Monday. Maybe we'll watch it if we can hit the goal for the panel. If I can find it, let me know in the chat. Just in the chat, type if you'd be interested in sitting and watching that with us. And Naruto here with the challenge super chat says, goal! Bing, bing, bing. On the Reloaded channel, we have officially hit the goal. So we are going to look at the poll here in a second. Because once you hit the goal, you get the poll.
You should
to go along with... What was that? Paige, you're going to find the clip, or we just going to read this?
I sent it to you.
Where? In private chat?
No, on Twitter.
Oh. You have to specify when you say I sent it to you. It's not like we're
Well, I thought you got
telepathing.
little, ding ding notifications or something.
No.
That'll be on your top thing. I think you get a phone call or something when I tweet or something.
No, nothing like that. It's only 25 seconds. This is a short one. It's so small. All right, let's do this here. All right. And this is about him returning as the Flash. I thought this was an interesting little quote here.
If they called me for a miniseries,
Yeah, if they said, "Hey, we want to do 5 episode or 10 episode," would you even consider it?
yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Like, there's a lot of things that would have to I'd ask,
Right.
not like for, but about,
Right. It's
and-
got to be a good story.
yeah,
It's got
I'd
to be
be,
compelling.
I'd be more interested in yeah, yeah,
I want to be a producer.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
If they called me,
So basically more in control of what the product is. Because I
Yeah.
think
Did
he
you
really-
notice he did not request Eric Wallace's presence?
I was going to say, look, you were reading my mind there. I'm like, he didn't mention anything about Eric Wallace, but he would love to be on the creative side. I could imagine how good the show would be if they let Grant make some of the decisions
Yeah.
about what was
yeah.
happening on screen.
Yeah.
I mean, he did say, and I can see this. Like he said, as time went on, he felt like he knew that version of Barry the best. And honestly, I can see that. And this isn't the first time we've heard him say it's a lot of things that they tried to do on the show in later seasons that he just said straight up no to.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
of course. I mean, if it was up to me, I wouldn't. The Flash wasn't even the Flash in the last few seasons. It was Cecile and her duo. I mean, we all remember that picture from when they were feeling all that fear and they were just all huddled
I'm not
together
saying
and sweating.
you are absolutely right. I'm not going to say you're wrong about any of that. So
Here's
Yeah,
one
I mean-
interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's an interesting thing. I'm not saying he would not do a great job because I think he loves that character a lot. But he's also one of the people that wanted Barry to die, right? Like he wanted
Right.
him to end the show dead. And I was always very adamant, no, I would hate if you ended the show like that. It would completely ruin Crisis and what that meant. So as long as I think there's a little bit of creative control, as long as there's multiple people being like, okay, let's talk about this, let's break it down. What does this mean for the character? But I'd love to see what, let's say, season 7 through 9 would have looked like if Grant Gustin was had more creative control.
Well, Shortcut brings up the thing about changing dialogue. Or remember, how he changed that one of Eric's favorite scenes throughout the entire series, which was the breakdancing scene. Originally, he doesn't even mention anything about learning to breakdance. So Grant had to bring up why is he breakdancing, and then they slip in the line that he sped. Watched YouTube
yeah.
videos or something, or read through his in flash time and stuff. And obviously, you really appreciated that, Eric. The attention to detail.
Yeah, I love that part of it. All right, so we've got a couple things here. I'm going to give you guys. We got one more little topic, and then I'm going to talk about my favorite comic book stories, the long form stories. I got a few of those, and then some TV shows that were considered bad, but maybe so bad they were good. So I'm going to bring those up, or just bad TV shows that you watched over the years.
You better not
Anybody
say
wants to share
Naomi,
about that?
Eric.
What are you saying, Lance?
Did you see that the It prequel series got delayed again?
No.
Wait, it did?
It got delayed to 2026 now.
Oh, speaking of delayed, did you see? I don't have it handy, but apparently Robert confirmed that he's going to be filming the Batman by the end of this year, but I haven't seen any updates about scripts or anything like that. So
yeah, I did see. Yeah.
What do we think about that? Do we think that's going to happen, or is it not going to happen? Just
I mean,
curious.
tentatively, sure. I mean, there's still quite a bit of time to get that script done to be ready by the end of the year, but I think it has to do a lot too, I feel like, with how Superman maybe performs as well, and if and when they decide to shift things around a little bit more.
Yeah. All right.
I think they're just gonna. I think this is gonna be one of those films where Matt Reeves is still constantly tweaking the script. Gotta remember, he did have all those personal issues, and he's a freaking perfectionist. So I think they're just gonna be tweaking as they go. I
don't think you're wrong.
That could be a bad thing, or that could be a good thing.
Yeah.
This is just like a watch this space type thing. Also, I hope Taz narrates with that golden voice.
Oh my gosh.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
so before we get into the topics that you guys voted for over the last couple of weeks, we got a couple of those. I want to shout out to 2024. The percentage of highest grossing films of 2024 featuring female protagonists matched the percentage of films with male protagonists the first time in recent history. So it's been a minute since we've seen anything like this. And I would say, if you look back, it would probably be something like maybe the 90s, like early 90s, late 80s, somewhere around there when that happened. And as you can see, they're looking at The Substance. Obviously, that's there. Furiosa, which is weird because that movie didn't perform well, but
Yeah, but it still made 200 million.
yeah.
So
Fair.
that's
But Wicked and Moana definitely. Moana is like heavy lifting for these movies this year. I mean, that or last year. That movie just, and now it's out on streaming, so it's making even more money on streaming for people that didn't go see it in theaters. So
Yeah.
Is anybody singing the songs from Moana 2 yet? I mean, are there anyone that's actually
Yeah.
like
I think it was like Moana. One of the songs was on the radio the other day.
The best song,
the radio.
the best song from Moana 2 is just a cover of one of the songs from Moana 1. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. No, I mean, it's just this. We got this narrative, at least in recent times, that movies that have women in lead roles just underperform because women are in lead roles. So I think it's important to remind people that that's not real. That's a narrative that has been created by a lot of the guys here on YouTube that want you to click on their videos, that women equal bad box offices. It's just, everybody get out of your fucking echo chambers. That should be the theme of today's stream. Just get out of your echo chamber.
Notice how Lance is not paying attention during this part of the stream. Very disrespectful.
No,
I don't remember Moana. I took my kids to see it, but I didn't pay attention to that.
Did you not like it?
It felt like it was supposed to be a TV show, which it originally was.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go see the live action one?
To see The Rock without a shirt on is a pastime of mine.
Well, you know it's not even his real body, right?
Yeah, he's in a
Eric,
weird, like,
body shaming. Wow.
No, but he's in a weird.
How am I body
though?
shaming when it's not his real body?
Yeah.
How is that body shaming?
Look, I'll let
I
you
don't-
make that decision on why it is and why it isn't.
But Taz said it looks weird. I agree with that.
It does look weird.
Yeah, it's like it almost looks like it's really him, but it's like a
Why did he
exaggerated.
need that though?
I think they said it was just so he didn't have to get the tattoos covered up, wasn't it? So he didn't have to constantly get.
Yeah.
Because you have to get
because
the
it makes
tattoos
him-
covered up and then.
They could have just
Yeah,
did that with
but
CGI.
it makes him look slightly like larger though. It's weird.
With a
Maybe,
little head.
but maybe in post they slim it down. Ozempic or something like
Oh,
Ozempic.
no. That is zipping in post production. What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, we don't know how technology is going to advance in the next few
Anyway,
months.
But I do agree with this whole thing. And my favorite female-led movie of last year would have to be Wicked. I am a Wicked stan.
Madam Web?
If I must say,
Madam
if I must say, I wouldn't be scared of Elphaba. Elphaba, Elphaba would get it. That's all I'm saying.
Can I just go back to the Rock thing really quickly?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I mean, every time I see those photos of him, I think he's finally hit rock bottom.
Oh,
I'll see myself out.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh my god.
So
Anyway,
back to Elphaba. Yeah.
really?
Cynthia
Really
Cynthia Arrivo is a amazing singer. I think her and Amanda Stillwell. I mean Ariana Grande.
Oh.
I think they have great chemistry. Darren, you muted it at the wrong time. I think they have amazing chemistry in that movie. Yeah, like that was legitimately
Go
like,
go on
favorite
YouTube,
films.
and after we're done, if you like Whitney Houston, you like the old school Whitney Houston stuff, go on YouTube and look up Cynthia Erivo's covers of Whitney Houston. They're incredible.
See, this is why it's always interesting, and why I think conversations and topics and just discussions are really important throughout the stream. Because Lance has brought in this Cynthia Erivo thing and the Wicked thing, and from my knowledge, Cynthia Erivo is a lesbian. But and Ariana Grande is straight at the moment. She has a boyfriend.
Doesn't mean she's straight though.
That's the thing. That's the big question. But is this a situation? Lance is, hinting at their relationship.
I don't think Lance was hinting at anything. I think Lance was just saying stuff. So
Are you sure?
I enjoyed their renditions of these characters, and I can't wait for Wicked Part 2. I'm not calling it Wicked for Good. That shit is dumb as hell. Who seriously thought, hey, we're gonna name the second one Wicked?
Well, it's better than part 2 because historically the part 1.
Well,
part
that's the name of a song, Lance.
Yeah.
That's like a part of the
Wow.
Darren, sing any Wicked song. Sing any Wicked song.
We're
I would
Wicked.
sing it if I wasn't sick. I'm not gonna sing it when I am.
Quote a Wicked song right now.
We're off to see
Defying gravity.
All right. Whenever Paigey speaks, Oblivion theme should play in the background. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Paige, is it daylight outside where you're at?
Yeah, I mean, it's what, 20 past 4? For almost 4:20.
All right.
Is it? It's getting dark. Oh, probably gonna get dark for like another hour.
Should we discuss? I've got 3 of each. Should we do 3 favorite comic book storylines first, or 3? What was the actual wording here? Favorite TV show fails. Those are the. I've got
favorite
3 of
TV
each.
show fails.
Yeah, do TV show files. I don't have any
right.
off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to make them up.
All right. In no particular order.
You got them written down.
Yeah, I have them over here.
Well, that's cheating. You're giving us a heads
All
up.
of Naomi season 1.
I did. I gave everybody a heads up that was coming on. Like if you're in the group chat, you knew about it.
Yeah, I didn't read that.
Yeah, of course not. So my first one would be.
Wait, so TV shows that are so bad they're good.
Well, just fail. Like things that you found amusing that they failed. Like not necessarily wanting them to fail, but it was like you watched them.
So I enjoyed watching them, but they just didn't work out, and they got
and they got. Well, no, it doesn't even that. You could whatever your criteria is. The show was a fail in whatever way you see it as a failure, whether it's storyline, characters, whatever it is that you didn't like about it. So I'm going to start out with my first one, and this will give you an idea of what I'm talking about, right? So I would say Powerless. Powerless is a show that I think could have been good, right? I think there was something there. If you watch the original pilot, you'll see that there was a much better storyline there, but they switched it up, and so it caused it to fail. So I would consider that to be one of my favorite like examples of a show failing. Is like the studio meddled, they changed the story, and it failed. So that's one of my 3. Does anybody have any mentions they want to drop, or
maybe a hot take, but Andor, I didn't love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I love the production value of it. I think it is maybe the highest production value Star Wars project out there, but I just got bored by it.
Right.
And I think that that's just the nature of the show. I think season 2 has the potential to be better.
It's a slow burn.
It is such a slow burn.
The first half of the season is very you have to get locked in 100% on that.
And it's tough to care about a character that their only purpose is to die, basically.
Yes, true.
But yeah, I don't hate the show, but it didn't hit for me it did for a lot of other people. It would be considered
a fail for you, like a fail,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Darren, do you have any?
I mean, all of Titans pisses me off. Like,
oh no!
How dare you?
Me and Taz went over.
We're gonna have to fight.
But it's like, you like genuinely could be one of the greatest superhero shows of all time.
Right.
Like you have the cast, you have a slightly bigger budget, you have these characters and these costumes that are all amazing. And then every season they're like, "Hey, what if we just do the worst thing possible again and again and again and waste all these really cool characters?"
I think that's a good fail too. That's a good one. What about you, Lance? Do you have one?
I'm gonna say this, then I have to cut out because I have to be up at 4.
All right.
Jeez,
Mine would
3
have.
hours.
Yeah. I'm gonna get 3 hours of sleep. Mine would
Lance,
have.
prioritize your sleep, man.
No, I prioritize Eric.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
Because he
Once
made
again,
me who I am.
homoerotic. Way too.
He made me who I am on YouTube.
Oh my
right.
gosh.
But honestly, everybody knows me. Everybody knows the one show I hate more than any other show
Oh gosh.
would have to be Naomi. Like, what the hell
Oh, that's a good
happened
one.
Yeah.
with Naomi? Like, from the promotion of them thinking having Javicia, black female lead, interview Casey Wallfall, black female lead, and not think, this isn't kind of racist at all. And to the fact that the show, why make a show based on a comic that is literally still ongoing? It had only been out for what?
There was only
couple
like
of
5
years?
issues or something. I think
Only
there was only like
5
5 issues.
issues.
And then she was with the Justice League. Yeah.
We're seeing photos of Titans and Doom Patrol in a comic book shop because the world she lives in, every other show is a literal show.
Right.
You tease us with Superman, you have her air on the same night as Superman and Lois, but
What about
all we
Hawkman
see
though?
is
Hawkman was
silhouette.
there.
Whatever that guy was the Thanagarians in their world have Hellblades for wings. I know that had to hurt coming out the back. Turns out the villain isn't even the villain, but he's the villain in the book. That was so dumb. Don't get me started on the camping episode.
Well, there we go. That was Lance's. So now he has to get out of here. I'll see you later, Lance.
Wait, I want to hear Pagey's.
Oh, Paigey, do you have one?
Oh, my first one's. I mean, it's more personal, so everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, The Office Australia." Just not very funny.
You've talked about that before. You said that the
It
best
tried
one is
to
the
appeal.
UK one, right?
I don't know. I think the UK and the Office one, and the US one are fairly on par. The US because it just goes for longer, but the Australian one was trying to appease or appeal to like overseas, maybe even like the American market. So it feels a bit cringe at times.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is that it, Lance? You heading out?
Oh, was that? He said his first. I was waiting on the second one.
Oh, I can say my second one as well.
Go ahead and say because he's very interested in what you're saying. So
I
go ahead and do
might
your
be
review.
stealing someone's here, but it has to be said. Secret Invasion. What a load of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Oh,
while we're
that
at
was-
it,
that-
Inhumans too.
Yeah, you don't even have to explain those. Like you just say it,
Yep.
and you're like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
I know,
We get
the
it. So-
Scott Buck Renaissance.
Oh, Gotham
What?
Knights.
Yo, Lance, we're gonna fight right here.
I
picked
think
the
Gotham
wrong
Knights was
night,
okay. Like Gotham Knights was okay.
Dude, I love Gotham Knights.
It was better than Naomi for sure. It was like
It was better than Naomi, but like again, you can't come up with a better name for your lead than Turner Hayes. And
It
that
sounds
guy
like
was
an
stiff as
underwear
hell.
brand or something like that. Or like
No, he
they make
sounds like a
pillows.
Pirates of the Caribbean character, actually.
Bro, Batman just having the gun and only Cal. You have the gun that killed your parents just in the drawer at work. And then the only thing you have in there is the cow. So boom, they just figure, oh my God, he was Batman? Or maybe somebody put a fake Party City cow because obviously this Batman didn't have much money to make good stuff. Don't get me started.
Wow, Eric, can you look at the chat quickly? The most recent chat from Malcor.
right here, this one.
Wow.
On that note, yeah, that's crazy. All right, I'll see you guys
I
later.
think I turned it off after like 10 minutes of the first episode and
I
never
made
looked
it
back.
all the way through the season because I committed to reviewing it, so I had to watch the whole season.
Wow.
It was painful. Those reviews are really funny. So I'll go ahead and give my other two, and then we'll let everybody get their last two. So my other ones here that I had, because I said Powerless. The other one I did have Inhumans on my list, but the other one that I had was Legends of Tomorrow. for me.
Ooh.
That started out so strong and then just fell off a cliff towards the end for me. That's just my opinion. I know it's not a popular opinion. I know there's a lot of loyal Legends fans that love those last couple seasons. I just didn't love them. However, I still think they should have gotten a proper final season so they could wrap up their storyline. So, does anybody else have any ones they want to mention at all?
I have one that's not necessarily the whole show. I think it's a fall from grace for a show, and that is Young Justice. I think the newer 2 seasons fell off quite a bit from where those original 2 seasons were. I think it started off strong, but it just nowhere near quality-wise as good as those first couple of seasons, unfortunately.
Right. Okay, that's fair. Darren, what were your ones?
I mean, one of my favorite shows of all time is The 100. I love that show.
I love the first couple seasons of that show.
I actually love every season except for that final season. That final season is so bad. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I guess I can spoil it. It's like 5 years old.
It's old. It's old, and most people probably haven't even thought of it. So yeah.
I feel like they ruined almost every character to the point they kill off their co-lead 5 episodes prior to the final episode. And it's like, what are we doing here? It sucks out all the love and joy. At the time, they
got a proper final season, right? They were doing it. Yeah,
sucked terribly. I was reviewing it at at the time. One of my videos got 100K, 100,000 views on it. I was like, okay, I have to keep reviewing this because it was doing well on my channel. I just didn't talk about the final episode because I was so pissed at how it ended. I was like, all right, this
yeah, I get it. Anybody have any other mentions of things?
Well, I have my third one, my final one.
Wow,
I didn't mention. I mentioned 2. It's a show that technically didn't happen, but it was might have been the grace of God that it did not happen. We were teased it. We were threatened with it.
Oh no, I know what it is.
Green Arrow and the Canaries.
I knew it. As soon as you said that, I knew what it was. I mean, we got a tease of it in that one episode of the final season of Arrow of what the show was.
The backdoor pilot, and they went, imagine if this happened.
Could you imagine if we would have got that show? What would have happened?
It would have gotten canceled after 1 season. It would have gone
especially because
the same way as Gotham Knights.
It would have been a COVID show as well, so definitely would have got canceled.
But it would have had it would have had a cult following, though. I think same thing that literally same thing.
By cult, do you mean the Olicity cult?
Here's the thing, though. That could have been a perfect 1 season show.
It could have been.
It could have been.
They could have done 1 season. Yeah.
Almost make it like a Batman Beyond, but Green Arrow Beyond.
I want to shout out the Black Lightning spinoff that never happened, and I'm kind of glad it didn't because it looked like it was going to be bad.
Oh yeah.
I didn't understand that either. Yeah.
The only spin-off that I actually sort of wish we got that Justice U show that Digger was going to be in, just because I was very curious of how it would have played out. I don't necessarily think it would have been a great show, but just to see how it would have been put together and who they would have chosen and everything like that.
I think
but it would have been weird though, because that would have come before Gen V.
That's true.
What was the other? What's the other school one that they? Oh no, it's that Doctor Strange one they just announced, the Strange Academy thing or whatever it is. And isn't it another a super school? I guess there's the X-Men, but
yeah, there's one. What was it? I think it has what's his name, Wong from Doctor Strange in it. It's not like a superhero school, but it's like a ninja school, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, does anybody have any other ones? Because if not, I think we can wrap up the topic. So.
I mean, I just finished Walking Dead this past year, and I actually liked the show throughout its run. And again, this is not an unpopular take, but them killing Carl is absurd to me.
Yeah, I have to say, I tapped out at season 4 and didn't care after that. I was like, I'm done. So.
I was my favorite season. Just kind of crazy.
Are you gonna make me go back and watch season 5 now to figure out what happened?
I'll be honest though, and this is the CW's fault. I've seen such bad CW Arrowverse stuff that the worst of The Walking Dead is not even top. Is it's not it's fine. It's totally solid TV comparatively to Arrow season 4 and Flash season 7 and stuff like that.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we had another topic, but we're up at the 2-hour mark, and I feel like we need to probably wrap it up. So we were going to talk about comic book storylines. We're still going to do that, but I'm going to save it for Monday. So that will be added to the Monday stream. So anybody here, any of the guests here that had those written down, just hold on to it till Monday, and we'll talk about it.
I did not have that written down, so
okay.
I haven't.
Before
some time
Monday,
to prepare.
Yeah. So basically, 3 comic book storylines. It doesn't matter if it's manga or like whatever. 3 comic book storylines. It's not hentai, but any comic book stories over the years that you want to talk about that you think are exciting, write those down and we'll talk about them on stream. Strange Academy is Harry Potter for Marvel. Actually, surprisingly, and we have to talk about this in detail, I think there's a rumor that's going to be an animated series now, right? Didn't they say that they were thinking about making it animated? I thought I saw that online somewhere.
Strange Academy?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they're like, it depends on. They might be looking at their viewership and thinking like, I mean, we're saving money doing this animated, and you can probably, it's easy maybe to get people because you can structure the voice recording at different times. Like, if their view difference isn't that much, like let's say like a certain episode gets, let's just say it's 2 million for a live action episode, whatever it is, on like the first day, and you're getting like 1.2 to 1.5 for the animated one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd make it animated. I mean, unless it's like integral for it to be live action, or it just works better, especially something with like magical powers. And I mean, they could do something where they have like some, I mean, like what's the skeleton crew with the elephant little kid? They could do like some lizard,
a combination of like practical and
but they could have like a lizard, like half lizard hybrid with like a
they could 100%
or something like that.
All right, so let's see what won the poll today. You guys reached the goal in the Reloaded channel, so let's do this. What did they pick? 40%, pretty wide margin, said MCU Phase 4 rankings on a tier maker list. So
on a scale of 1 to, actually on a percentile from 0 to 100%, how many of those projects do you think I've watched, Eric?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
I can't remember. What is stage 4? Or phase 4?
Hold on, let me read them out to you. I'll read them out because it's got shows included in it as well.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there's like 20 projects in phase 4.
Yeah, it's a lot. So
that's
I will
a lot.
not be catching up if there's...
Here's the films are Black Widow, Shang-Chi.
I've seen 15 minutes of Black Widow, 0 minutes of Shang-Chi.
Eternals.
Pretty good.
I've watched half of Eternals and then I turned it off.
I still need to watch it, actually.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
I saw that, yeah.
Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
I saw that. Wow, 2 in a row.
Thor Love and Thunder.
I saw that.
Yeah. Yep.
And Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the movies.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen Wakanda Forever?
I still haven't seen it either.
Here you go, Paige. Here's where you're going to be like, I haven't seen these. This is all the TV shows in Phase 4.
I probably watched more of the TV shows than the movies.
Well, you don't have to leave the house to do it. WandaVision, The Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Honestly, fucking
what?
Insult?
Maybe it was. I don't know.
I was wondering if you were going to mention
Loki, What If Season 1, Hawkeye. Actually, What If, even though it is connected, I don't know if it's necessary to put that in there. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, and She-Hulk were all Phase 4.
I watched a bit of She-Hulk, and then I went, this is ass, turned it off. I think I watched most of that. Remember there's one I haven't
create
watched?
the tier maker list for it.
I think I've watched all the Disney Plus shows somehow.
Maybe.
Except maybe not the animated ones. Like I haven't seen all of What If.
So the way it looks is there's a bonus weekend stream coming up. So in that bonus weekend stream, we also have a 5-hour stream I'm going to do sometime in March.
Oh, God.
The bonus weekend stream will probably do some of these other things we still have left in the top. We have like 4 or 5 things I can use for that one. So anyway, look, Serenity says proof that Phase 4 is the best phase. Any thoughts?
I don't know if that's proof. I don't know.
I'd have to see all of them laid out again.
Yeah. Well,
some of the other phases had some absolute stinkers. Yeah. So
yeah.
maybe it is.
I honestly might say the first phase best phase, honestly.
Well, the thing is, we'll do the Phase 4 ranking in like 2 weeks. So that way, if anybody wants to go back and watch some of the Phase 4 stuff before we rank them, they'll have time to do it.
It's crazy. We're about to wrap up Phase 5.
I know.
We have Daredevil, Thunderbolts, and then we're done, I think.
Yeah, and then that's
with Fantastic Four is
Yep.
That's start of Phase 6, yeah.
Pretty wild. We made it to 6 phases. And DC hasn't even made it through one of their, what do they call their things?
Chapters.
Chapters, yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Gods
it should
and
also be
monsters.
stated this year. I don't know exactly when. I think we hit 50, not including the like Netflix shows. We hit 50 MCU projects in 2025.
Not including the Netflix shows?
Not including like if you count all the like Disney Plus shows and the presentations, we hit 50.
That's
this
pretty
year.
crazy.
Does that include like Shield and Agent Carter and stuff
No,
like that too, or no?
that's not
Okay.
including Runaways or any of those kind of stuff.
Oh wow.
So yeah, the after party is going to come back in March, and it will be what day of the week is Daredevil coming out on? Do we know?
I think
What,
it's,
a Wednesday or Thursday would be? Isn't that Disney Plus drop day?
it is Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, okay.
But that Tuesday night?
Right. Yeah. I think it is.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, because they've been doing like 9 p.m. releases.
Yeah.
I would
not,
like that.
Yeah.
So what will happen is if it is Tuesday night, which means it'll be Wednesday day for a lot of people that are going to be watching it, we will do the after party on Wednesday afternoon. So that's when I will air the after party. So it'll be a Wednesday, like at the normal time the after party would normally air at. So, and that will be specifically for Daredevil. So it's not like we're talking. We'll save all these other things for the Nerdcast, but the after party will be specifically for Daredevil. So anyway, we're gonna get out of here, you guys. Make sure you check out Taz's channel. Head over and support Darren. And if you want to help Paigey out, send him links to like lesbian Venn diagrams, I guess. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, if anyone does the research or needs to think they can, add their 2 cents in,
send
feel
it
free to
over.
let me know.
May I just- May I just promo really quickly? We got you
Yeah.
on tomorrow, so if
Yeah,
you're gonna
that's
check
right.
us up tomorrow, 3:00.
Yep.
Come chat some MCU stuff. with
I'll
us.
be there. So head over to Darren's channel and you'll catch me there.
They may or may not be going through late blooming lesbians too.
We will
So
not
they
be
can
talking
add-
about that on Darren's channel, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, see
Alright,
everyone
never
later.
say
Have a good
never.
night.
Yes.